This is going to be our first episode of Side Quest movie reviews. Okay, so this is the fourth attempt at doing a Chucky series review.
Oh boy.
Okay, so we're gonna see if we could go through. God damn it, I can't even unlock this. Okay. You know, I'm just gonna. Come on, I don't care.
And if he pops out his leg,
Okay.
then more entertainment.
My leg!
More entertainment for you.
Oh god. Alright, there we go. Okay, that hurts. Alright, here we go. But we're going to be doing the full Chucky franchise, and we'll see how we feel by the end of the movies, and see if we decide to get through to the actual TV series. Because going through the TV series again, and Mike was watching, the mic is on the side over there somewhere, watching this.
Inception watching.
And watching the reviews, or at least the overviews online, I'm like, there is so much crap that is in the series that gets so muddied up and mixed up. But like, we'll kick this off with like the very first movie, the one that really kicked it off. And this is directed by Tom Holland, the guy that did Fright Night. This is the 1988 Child's Play from the original trilogy, written by Don Mancini, who had the original idea. Where that idea was, his idea was the Blood Buddy one, right?
Yes. He wanted to make it like the old 70s movie Match, where it's like with Anthony Hopkins, but he wanted to be more demon or magic possessed, like a kid is just using his inner darkness to power this doll who's protecting him from other like.
Oh yeah, to go after his like enemies or people that cross them. Alright, yeah, which actually they do revisit that later on. But that was the original take that Don Mancini had, but then Tom Holland got a hold of it. I believe David Kirshner got involved. And somebody else, but they punched it up to where now it's voodoo, where it's a serial killer. Where a serial killer is the original. This is now the original movie story, where a serial killer possesses a doll, gets taken in by a child, and starts exacting his revenge on people that pretty much crossed him to get to the point of turning into a doll.
Yes.
And
Charles Leroy.
And the movie, it kicks off pretty fucking crazy, because I mean, like, immediately, like, it gets you because it's the human version of Charles Lee Ray, which is Chucky, getting chased down an alley or down the street in Chicago. Which, by the way, everything bad happens in Chicago. Everything bad happens in Chicago.
I've noticed that.
It Follows happens in Chicago. Candyman's in Chicago.
Wasn't Mimic in Chicago?
Mimic is also in Chicago.
One of them.
No, the first one was in Chicago.
Wasn't the Relic?
Chicago.
Was the Relic?
Oh no, wait, maybe it was the Relic.
Relic
is in Chicago.
I think Mimic was New York. Because that's where we were riffing on.
Oh yeah, that's right. If anyone's interested,
our Relic.
Our Mimic reviews are on Spotify right now.
Yeah.
But anyways, so it literally just does. This guy possesses this dog. It's taken in by a kid and starts exacting revenge. And it's a pretty simple plot, but I think that the way they directed the movie, it kept it in horror. Alright, because that's going to be important a little bit. It's just strictly a horror movie, and there's a lot of pretty horrific parts in it. I mean, like, positives in this, for me, I like the way it was directed. The effects in this were really fucking good. The acting was pretty on point. Like, the mother did a really good job, because I think really it focuses more on the mother trying to kind of figure out what's wrong with her kid or something, because obviously, as the movie goes on, they start thinking that these murders going on around the doll
could be the kid.
Or could be the kid. And I think, actually, for a negative for me, actually, I think that they just didn't reveal that part really in the beginning, where he's doing the whole spell or whatever to try and change over the body. It could have been cool trying to figure out is that mystery. Yeah, is it Andy that's actually doing it, or you know what I mean?
If we didn't get that first segment of him getting gunned down and thrown into the toy store, but that was you kind of needed it because that was so crazy.
Yeah, no, it sucked you in. It kind of sucked you in.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's also at a certain point they started showing perspective of Chucky running around and all this other stuff. But I mean, it arguably could still be Andy because they're almost like the same height.
Yes. That's, that's why they have the same, almost the same shoe size, same. Because it's like, oh, your shoes look just like these shoes that we found at the scene of the crime.
Yeah, and also he's literally wearing all of the good guy gear. All good guy gear. Yeah. But honestly, but yeah, as far as negatives go, that's it for me. But what about you? Positives, negatives?
Positives. I was gonna split this up into categories. First, the doll itself, the animatronics in the doll, great, amazing, completely believable. Like sometimes they use a little person, but most of the time it's an animatronic doll, and you can think this thing is moving and it's alive. And a lot of the effects they use for it, like you said, is pretty impressive for the time.
Yeah,
it's 36 years ago.
Yeah, and this is before CG and all that shit.
And and then like you said, the characters. You care about what's happening to the mom. You care about the child, Andy. You even care about the detective, and you feel bad for a lot of the deaths. It's not like you're just slasher movie where it's a bunch of teens that are getting killed, and you don't care about most of them because you barely remember their names. Like you remember most of these characters. There's not a lot, but you remember most of these characters.
Yeah, what about negatives?
As negatives. Some of the little person effects are kind of dated. We see him rolling.
Yeah,
around.
that's true. Like the head's really big.
Head's really big. Some of the deaths would not work. Like they're still impressive, but they wouldn't work in real life. There's no how is that person?
I was actually about to say there's I think one of the first deaths, the hammer death, where he gets the babysitter. Yeah, it'd be one thing if she was already at the window,
and she's
but
holding on or
yeah, but she literally goes 10 feet back and then just literally lunges herself out the window. Yeah, that's pretty bad. You're I'm not gonna lie, but some of the effects are a little dated, but then still
that's minor.
Yeah, minor stuff. Because the next thing was any favorite moments for me was when you see melted Chucky, and he's looming over Andy with them. That's terrifying. And there was a little person in there. But that was terrifying.
Even both the little person and the effect. That and then the no batteries part are the two.
Oh yeah, those are the big hitters.
When the mom finally is confronted by, it's not her son. Something's going on weird. She's trying to get the instructions to see, and then she opens the box, sees the batteries are still in there. But she's had this Chucky for 2 days now, and it's been talking and all this stuff. So she kind of confronts it, and she's and it turns its head, and it says hi, and I think that got
jump scare.
Yeah, I think that got everything.
Yeah, great jump scare, and then also the funny one where she's about to throw in the fire.
Oh yeah.
And then he just starts screaming obscenity.
He's completely dropped the guy.
Fuck you! I'm gonna fucking. And I think one of the funniest things I saw was the online where they showed the Spanish version, and he's yelling in Spanish.
Showed me this a long time ago. The Spanish.
He's I can't remember what he actually said in Spanish. But he sounds hilarious.
It is hilarious.
But yeah, no. The first installment, probably one of the best ones. And then we get to the second one, which is 1990, 2 years later, directed by John Lafia, which I couldn't. Actually, he did a lot of TV stuff.
Yes.
But other than that, he really didn't do much. It's also the writer Don Mancini. Also, at this point, Don Mancini is pretty much writing all of it.
Yes.
All of it.
They're all his baby. He may not direct all of them.
No.
But he's writing.
He's writing all of it. So, Child's Play 2. Biggest thing on this, probably that this is the best combo they have of the comedy and the horror.
Because this is the one everyone remembers. This is, we'll give our overall, ranking, but this is our top one. This is
the top one. Because the first one, great installation, introduces the character, and then 2 is really where you get most of his personality. They focus a lot on him. He kind of comes to life pretty quickly too, right?
Yeah. 20 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah, this is the one where he kills the executive right in the car.
Yeah,
with
he
the
kills
bag.
the bag with the bag.
Yeah, what you call it? But yeah, no, and the animatronics in this are really good.
The animatronics, the doll looks great.
Yeah, it's the best look for him.
That's the one everyone buys. That's the one they recreated. That's the premier Chucky look.
Yeah, so in this one, the general plot is it's been maybe a few years after.
It's been 2 years.
Yeah, I think it actually follows the actual timeline. 2 years, because it's also going to be important. The next one.
8.
Yeah. So it's 2 years after the fact. His mom has been institutionalized,
Yes.
unfortunately. So now he's going into the foster care system.
Yeah.
And then somehow they, what do they do? I never got this, but they refurbished the Chucky
Again,
from the
these
murder
Chucky
trials.
movies, you gotta hand wave. We're gonna say this over and over. You gotta hand wave a lot of things, especially just to jump ahead. A lot of police work, but for this one,
This one is the least egregious too.
with that, yes.
Yeah.
For this one, the premise is there's obviously a lot of murders and stuff have happened around this child and this doll, and this child's been burnt to hell, and she's claiming it's an evil possessed thing. They're like, we're gonna figure it out by examining it. Okay, that makes sense. So they take it apart, but for some reason they reconstruct the entire doll.
Yeah.
Maybe I was like, my best excuse for that is maybe publicity. Like, hey, we examined it and look, we made it brand new, and it's gonna be like a
I think that's
memorabilia
what it
item.
was supposed to
Yeah.
be, because also
Something
I think
like that.
because they did say like number one, because I think they tried burying the story a little bit, because they were like, we made up this story that a disgruntled employee put in like a fake tape for the doll to say crazy things.
Crazy things. They thought so. There's like, we opened it up. There's no fake tape. There's no tampering. We made it good as new. But that's when we get our first death when they're rebuilding Chucky. A great scene of him being rebuilt and just showing how
it's a good
guy
intro.
doll is made. And with the engineer who's putting in the final touches to Chucky, I think the last thing is his eyes. And he puts it in and he gets electrocuted, and it's like Emperor Lightning comes out.
Yeah. I'm like, as far as the first death goes, that one was goofy as fuck.
Yeah, and
that was really
flies
goofy.
back like 30 feet and dies horrifically.
Okay, I keep
like, blood everywhere. That's the first.
Yeah.
And
although it could be because it was kind of like a callback to the first movie with the giant lightning bolts.
Yeah, that's
like how
I
he's
think that was the callback.
Yeah, I think that's what that is.
His soul is now.
Yeah, it's back,
been
which
back.
also still there's really no explanation for that either.
I guess the voodoo logic is his body's been like made whole again. So,
Yeah, and it's still the same
so
skeletal.
Damballa is like,
Okay,
I'll give you a new.
once
new
again,
chance.
this is like the least egregious of all, like with the weird rule
And
changes.
they still kind of follow the rules
A little bit at this point.
At this point,
But yeah, so then they reconstruct the doll,
Yes.
and then Chucky finds his way to looking for Andy again, because he kind of becomes obsessed with the fact that this kid took him out, and he wants to get another body.
He still needs Andy. But we didn't go over in the first one. The rule is whoever he first revealed himself to is the only person he can transfer his bot back to. At least
his soul into like
so
whatever.
like
human.
he can't become human. At first he thought, oh, I could get revenge on all these people, and I'm in like this near invincible doll because he's in a doll body. He didn't feel pain at 1st but the curse is that he's slowly becoming more human, and he's stuck in a doll's body. And he's like, I didn't want that. That's not part of the deal. So the voodoo guy he worked alongside John tells him, you have to.
Which also, how do you not like vet these people you're teaching voodoo
Right.
to, where he's like a serial killer?
Like a
come on,
known
dude.
serial killer.
Because like when he gets confronted too, like I know this is going back to the first
Going
movie
back,
still,
but
because we did skip over it. It's kind of important,
Yeah.
but like
No,
he's like,
rules.
I didn't know you were gonna do this. I'm like, dude, he's a serial killer. What do you think he was gonna
He's
do?
good with voodoo.
Yeah, right. With voodoo, that works.
What were their conversations? But he's like, because he says this is an abomination against like my
Everything,
teachings.
yeah.
And he's like, oh, but for some reason, he tells him under duress because he's torturing him
That's true.
that you have to you can only transfer to the person you first revealed yourself to. And Chucky only told Andy, the first person, like, I'm not a doll. I'm Charles.
Yeah, and then he kind of technically screwed himself doing
He's
that.
like, well, he's like, it's his only chance that he's gonna
Yeah, and that's basically what the most of the first movie. After he kills all these people, he goes after Andy.
Is him going after Andy because
And
he wants
yes,
his
this is
body.
him trying to get a new body. The first original trilogy. Because I forgot, I usually break these movies down to 3 separate
They're
eras.
like 3 separate eras.
So it's like this is the original trilogy, he's trying to get his body back, and then there's the gas leak era, and which
then
we'll get
there's
into.
Return to Form.
Return to form, the resurrection era, and but. Yeah, this whole at the second one, it's a full tilt towards I want to get Andy's body.
Yes.
And like I said, it kicks off pretty quick. He kills whoever.
He's the executive.
And then he finds
gets to Andy's.
which, by the way, he gets it through like a computer, right? In the executive's car.
He calls up like, because the executive had Andy's files.
Oh, and he calls up the
And
orphanage,
he calls
right?
up the orphanage.
Oh, gotcha.
For some reason, she gives away.
Oh, they're like, oh yes, random stranger. Let me give you this information on this child that we just gave away.
Like, yeah. It's like, okay. So he forces the guy to drive him there because the guy doesn't know it's Chucky. He has him with a fake gun at gunpoint, and he like strangles him when he gets there. Which I guess never reported on, or at least like the car found in.
I mean, they're still in. Oh yeah, it's Chicago. Who cares?
Yeah,
Man? No one cares. It's Chicago. Bro.
Everyone dies.
Everyone dies in Chicago.
Everyone dies.
That's a good band name.
So everyone dies in Chicago. But so he makes it over to Andy. But this foster family, for some reason, even though they knew the drama behind Andy, the murders and everything, forgot to take out their own good guy doll out of the house because they're like a revolving door foster family.
Which is, I feel like, is a weird thing. Like, I just keep bringing in kids, like
getting that paycheck. And
oh, that's true. They do get paid for that,
and then tossing them.
At least they're not like horrible, like orphan, like
they're not.
orphan,
They don't. Yeah, they don't beat Andy or anything.
Or they're not like they're hoarding the money and then like starving them.
Yeah,
Like the people under the stairs.
Oh yeah, it's not like the people under the stairs. We're running around a gimp shooting a shotgun.
No, that's just crazy.
They're just like
That's one we definitely have to cover one day. Is people under the
people
stairs.
under the stairs.
But
Back for next time. But they're just like, what's wrong with you? Why are you still traumatized by all this?
oh yeah, that is
Get
true.
over
Well,
it,
also,
kid.
and so
Like,
so yeah, like
so your mom's institutionalized and a lot of people are dead.
I mean, yeah, I mean the dad's kind of like that. The mom was a little bit more sympathetic.
More caring, but the dad's
The
like,
dad, because I mean, I think it's insinuated the dad didn't want to do this foster
No.
thing, and the mom just really wants kids, but she can't have them. And she just likes having the kids, and he's just like, I am so tired.
I'm so done.
Because if you think about it, they had a kid, and they just had 18 years, and that kid's out the door, done. But now they just have these kids keep coming in.
He has a foster sister, Kyle, and she's about to be out the door. She's like 17.
Yeah.
So he thinks, okay, now we're and then
She gets Andy, who's now this kid that's traumatized by this doll. And you know, you actually feel, once again, I like the first two movies because you also care about these characters. The dad's a dick, but you understand why he's a dick. The mom, you understand why she's neurotic.
You understand Cal being a foster kid going to the system, never home, smokes.
She's the typical bad foster kid, even though she's really not that bad.
No.
And like I said, you sympathize with Andy because his mom's institutionalized, and he tries so hard to like be good and have them like him. Where he actually to the point goes, all right, I'll just try and get over it. I'm going to play with this doll. He has the batteries. He checks the batteries too in the back. That I thought was smart.
Yes, he checked. He learned from his
mistakes, which I do like because the kid isn't being dumb either.
Alex Vincent.
Yeah, Alex Vincent.
He does very good as a kid in this one.
Yeah, because he's not stupid either. He's just like, I'm still wary of this, but I need to live in this house.
I need to live in this house, and I need to verify stuff. So Chucky at this point has already switched places with Tommy. That was the
original doll they had in the house.
Yes. So the good guy company had put batteries in Chucky already.
That's true. Yeah.
So he but he's like, I'm.
That was
Tommy.
Which, by the way, I mean, I know that he's not a dumb kid, but you couldn't tell, like, why did he pause like that and shift his eyes?
Yeah. And so.
But yeah, no, I mean, and then at this point,
he integrates himself.
And then the entire time, and also, by the way, he doesn't wait. Like the first night that he has Andy alone,
as soon as he
ties him up.
He ties him up and is about to do the transfer, but Kyle is, late night teen.
Oh yeah, sneaking through the window and bust him.
But again, this is you gotta take it for what it is.
Because she comes
in, see the child tied impossibly to the bed. No one else could do this, and she's like, Andy, how did you do this to yourself?
And the dolls on top, like, there should be red flags going on, but they're like, no, this is just some weird kid.
Because I can understand the parents like, Kyle, what did he say? He's like, you tied up this kid, so like,
oh yeah, I would believe that.
Wouldn't rat you out. But Kyle should be like, what the?
And also, she should be like, also, why would I need to do that? Like,
to go to sleep.
Like, why would that would
tie
make
him up? That would wake people up.
And not only that, the kid is gonna snitch.
Yeah.
Like
he'd be like, Kyle did it.
Kyle tied me up.
He tells them Chucky did
smoke drugs,
and they're like, whatever. He's like, it's just a stupid doll.
Yeah, the parents are very dismissive, and then after that, like, it's just Chucky kind of fucking with him, trying to get to Andy, but killing people
around him. But now he's more
him.
desperate because he gets them in broad daylight. Because as we see, the calling card to it is he gets nosebleeds now. So he's like, I'm becoming more human because I'm getting.
Oh yeah, the nosebleeds. Yeah.
So he throws him down the stairs, and he's like, "Oh crap! I gotta move fast." So he tries to get to Andy at school, where he writes on his test, just like cursing.
Oh
at the
yeah. That's
the only
and also it's
stuff.
like the typical.
So, but it's a plan. At first you think but it's actually a plan because he wants him to have detention, so they'll both be alone in the room.
Oh yeah. No, I mean I get the plan, but it's just like
he didn't think all of it through.
No, because he locks him in there, and then after that, also, this is one of my least favorite discs because it's so stupid. So the lady gets beat to death by a ruler.
Yes.
He pops out of the closet because she thinks it's Andy in the closet rustling around, and she just busts out and starts beating him. I'm like, who dies from a ruler? And how strong is that ruler though? Or does it break?
Super ruler and super doll strength.
Voodoo magic man.
He can beat her to death with the ruler. And I want to know if we ever got a police scenario, what was?
Oh yeah, police. Yeah. By the way,
this kid beat his teacher with the ruler. Is that what they're gonna?
And it's also, by the way, there's no police at all at
not
any
in this
point.
one. No,
because even after the dad dies, you don't see the police call and all that other stuff.
I think only ambulance takes
comes with. There's no investigation, and then immediately later the mom gets killed.
Like the next hour.
And then not only that, and then after that, it's back because they send him back to the orphanage. The orphanage lady gets fucking murked because Kyle gets kidnapped.
Kyle gets kidnapped at Knife Point by car to drive to the orphanage. He murders the caretaker.
It's just so funny.
And it goes so. This happens over a period of time, like 30 minutes, but it goes so fast if you talk about it that it's like 3 people are just dead.
It happens pretty quick succession.
Hour after hour, yeah.
It's pretty quick succession, and not only that, at this point we're getting there. I think they're moving along, trying to get to the third act. And not for nothing, it's a really good third act because it kind of culminates. Because I just want to wrap the movie up. Yeah. It culminates to them with Chucky trying to get Andy's body at the doll factory.
Yes, because he's running away from Kyle, and they have to. Closest thing, I guess, to the orphanage is the
doll factory somehow.
Yeah, the doll factory.
And
brilliant set.
Yeah, really cool. Because then he starts doing the spell, and it doesn't work because it's too late.
Yes, there's finally a consequence.
Yeah, it's too late, and now he's so pissed off. He's like, I'm just gonna fucking kill you now. Yeah. And then Kyle comes through. Which, by the way, I was watching some of the reviews with Frank, and there's that part where he's just like. Because he's so mad, like, I want to fight. And then he sees the box, what the fuck?
But then, a few seconds later, the boxes start rumbling. He's just like,
actually, I remember. I used to use that in the Halloween advertising in sci-fi.
Yeah,
which is funny. Back in the day. But that's the first one. But so and this whole time it's just a kind of him chasing them through the doll factory, and the entire time he's getting fucked.
Oh, yes.
This is also the era where Chucky just gets beat the fuck up in every movie.
Horror with special effects. He loses a hand, but then he makes the genius idea to take off the handle of the knife and take the stump of the knife and just dig it into his stump,
and then tapes it up.
So that's another doll iconic thing.
But the entire time he's just getting fucked up by the machines and stuff, and it's. And then to the point where Andy actually figures out a way to get hot plastic poured on him, and he melts in. He still comes back. Yeah. And then one of the funniest deaths, Andy puts this air hose in his head. Yeah. And then his head inflates.
Wounds to 20 times its size.
So it's cartoonish too. Yeah. And
that finally takes him out in this movie.
Yeah, and then that's the end of this one. And now. And once again, this is probably the highest rated one. This one, if they released in theaters again, I'd go to see it.
It would make
money because it's the best one of the series. It is hands down. But
until this,
now we get into 3, and so 3.
Will tell you more about this.
So 3, So 3. Number one, it had a lot of things going in. So the studio just wanted to pump this shit out.
1 year later.
And less than that. It was 9 months they tried putting this out.
Just get it out.
And Don Mancini even said, I had no stories. he wanted to do the multiple Chucky thing, which he didn't have money for. And then the only thing I think he really thought about was how he came back was through the hot plastic getting mixed in with the body. And actually in the TV version of Child's Play 2, they actually have an alternate ending where you see the plastic form the new face.
And then this new face smiles.
Yeah, and it smiles.
Yeah,
but in the third one they kind of go more into that. But like I said, it takes place. So it's only 9 months after, but yet they decided to set it in 1998.
8 years later.
Yes, 1998.
So 9 months for us, 8 years for the store.
So Andy is now
even more
older.
jarring.
I think
he's
supposed
a
to be
teenager. He's
16.
He's a teenager. He's been shipped off to military boarding school.
Yeah, because apparently he's a problem child in the foster system.
And he's been booted around the foster system. No mom now, no Kyle.
No Kyle. They don't ever say what happens to Kyle.
They don't even mention it because Don couldn't think of this all in 9 months. So he needed a set piece. He needed a new way for Chucky to come back, which is ridiculous. But again, you kind of just like, do you want Chucky back? Even though it makes no sense how a factory would be abandoned for 8 years.
And by the way, it's all cobwebbed up. It's dirty, and yet
Nothing
somehow
has been moved.
the machines just start, and then they just make it.
Because they're like, what was it? The company's plan was like, it's been 8 years.
Yeah.
People forgotten about the rumors.
And people love nostalgia. Let's bring back the good guy doll.
So,
and once again, it's one of those things where the first doll to come out with his plastic gets remade and sent to the executive.
Chucky, but only one Chucky. Don wanted to make multiple, but they're like, we don't have enough.
So this was supposed to be, I guess, the prototype Chucky?
Animatronics, yeah. This
that they sent to the executive, and he was supposed to just keep
the CEO.
Yeah, CEO.
The CEO. That he'll just keep. That's the first one off the line, like some memorabilia. Mm-hmm. And Chucky immediately, again, wastes no time. Not like the first movie where it's half of the movie is suspense. You only see from Chucky's view. You don't see the doll in life, in motion yet. In this one, and he wastes no time. He rips out the box. He's messing with the CEO and just strangles him immediately.
And then figures out that Andy's at this military school. So here's the thing. So there's the Chucky storyline, but then there's the other storyline they try shoving in there, which is the Full Metal Jacket, Major Payne Stripes weird military school angle where Andy's trying to survive military school with these asshole kids that are on a power trip being fake lieutenants and generals and stuff. Like, I'm just like, you guys are just LARPing. Like, what are you? Yeah, like, no, shut the fuck up. Like, you haven't been to war. Stop acting so hard.
Are you talking?
Oh, yeah, and also there's this kid. By the way, this like almost offensively nerdy kid that Andy becomes friends with, which is just like he's the typical sniveling. I got shoved in a locker.
No, like the typical for these school type of.
Like he's the sniveling nerd, and of course he befriends Andy because
they're roommates.
They're roommates. And then Andy becomes the subject of like ridicule and pretty much getting picked on by the higher ranking students.
The 4 jock guys.
And by the way, this is all like some weird sub story that going on. And then in the background, there's a killer doll because Chucky's still trying to make his way into the school. He once again, one of the first times you see him mail himself.
Yeah, somehow he mails himself to the school.
Yeah, I don't know how he does that, but he mails himself.
That day, because Andy just got.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And his box comes right as Andy's getting his haircut.
And
that guy, the best character for this movie, the barber.
Oh, the barber. Oh, yeah. Where he would just go and just rub students' heads.
He's like, we're going to make it smooth.
I'm like, dude, are you molesting these kids? Like, what are you doing? Something's going on. And like, he's like, I need to see you in 2 weeks. And like, it's getting a little sloppy up there. Like, it's gross. The way he starts approaching. But yeah, and also he has like one of the dumbest deaths, too. All the deaths here are not great. Like, I really don't think there's really any that stand out. Because they all get really... Because
the only one standing is not even really Chucky. I mean, he causes it, but it's the nerdlingers saving everyone's lives. It's the only one that...
I guess. That was almost indirect.
But it's not... Yeah, it's indirect. He wasn't even trying to kill him specifically. Mm-hmm. But it was like... It's just like, oh, man, he like, manned up and saved everyone.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he had his own little arc, which is cool.
That's no one else's deaths. So who had the heart attack? Was it the general? Yeah, it was the general.
The general had. Oh yeah, even Chucky didn't believe. He was like,
what the
like,
hell
are you fucking kidding me? and I don't know. Most of the deaths are so boring. The barber gets his like throat slashed.
Yeah, it's just easily just like.
Also, and there's no reason for him to be killing these people.
No,
like before,
he's messing around. And remember, he still thinks or knows he's on a time constraint. He needs to get into a body. He makes up this new rule. He's like,
this is the first time we start seeing the rule changes.
Well, we don't know because we never get a clear definition.
Carl, once we start getting to the end of these movies, you know that they're just fucking making shit up. So let's all right, just continue.
But he's like, he meets this kid that's somehow dumber than child Andy.
Tyler. Which, by the way, how old is he supposed to be? Because he acts like he's
be 8 to 10.
But he looks like he's like 12 or like 13.
But he has to be 8 to 10, but he's acting like he's 4 or 5.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you're a good guy, doll. I've never seen you guys say more than 3 sentences. And Chucky's cursing at him, saying all this stuff.
Also, I love
acting not like
once again, Chucky almost like commentating on how stupid this is. He's like, you're not even freaked out that I'm talking to you right now. Because he's just like, no. I'm like,
he's like,
oh, this is going to be easy.
He's like, and I got a new body, and I haven't told anyone my secret, so I'm going to pick this stooge now.
And here's the thing. So while in the other movie, Andy was pretty much thwarting his attempts, and he was killing people around Andy to get close to Andy, which makes sense. In this one, he's just killing random people, and in this one, Tyler is fucking with him by doing all these games like play hide and seek.
Like, yeah, we can play because Chucky calls it hide the soul because he's Tyler's stupid kid. He's like, yeah, we can play hide and seek, but let's do hide and seek first. And Chucky's like, fucking kid, stupid kid.
He's like, fuck!
And he's like just running around because again, there's no security, no personnel,
no cameras,
no camera. So he's just running around. Hey, come find me, Charles. Chucky's like, oh my freaking god.
Yeah, and it's really just like, Chucky getting dicked around by Tyler,
and then he just kills people along the way.
While Andy is trying to stop him and failing.
Andy's because he goes to confront Andy and just I don't know why it feels like he's thwarting himself by revealing himself to Andy, but I guess Andy's just pissed him off for.
No, that thing but he's really vindictive. Because initially he did go there to get
Andy, but then he
realized
he's with Tyler and he hadn't met new Andy yet. But he's like, don't worry, Andy, I'm just here to kill you now. I'm not here. He's like, you can't take my body. And he's like, I won't let you. He's like, don't worry, I'm not here for your body. I'm just here to kill you. I got some new fresh meat, and you're just yesterday's news. At every turn, Chucky gets interrupted. He tries to do the Dumball ritual, and then the general pops in, or he tries to do it again, and then the 2 girls pop in, and every time
it just gets worse. And then it kind of
just like I'll kill people along the way, I guess.
Yeah, and it's like a big nothing script because really they had nothing.
They had nothing.
And then so they were just like, we're just gonna try and do Full Metal Jacket.
He's not even doing the time constraints. He doesn't have the nosebleeds, I don't think anymore.
He's just at this point just doing shit. And then like by the end of the movie, which the third act is kind of bogus anyway.
They filling gun paintball around.
So Chucky, so they're doing like this ROTC fake battle thing or battle exercise. And they use simulation rounds, which are like paintballs, essentially. Paintball bullets.
Paintball rounds.
But Chucky somehow is able to replace all the bullets with real bullets, because getting into an armory is that fucking easy.
Getting into an armory and putting guns that use paintball rounds and putting live ammunition.
Because that works.
They'll still work.
They'll still work the same exact way. And so so apparently these kids indirectly are supposed to kill each other.
Yes,
but I think after the first couple rounds, when someone actually gets shot.
Yes, of course it's the bully. The head bully.
He gets shot. And then they actually stop. And then also Chucky's throwing the grenades. That's when the nerd guy dies.
Screw this! I'm throwing a grenade to distract you all, and then the nerd jumps on it and saves Andy.
And then somehow by this point now. Tyler realizes that Chucky's bad.
He's like, "Oh, you're bad."
Like
Charles is like,
"It's like, kid, what?"
And he tries to warn him, and he's like, "No, Charles is fine. He's fine." He's like, "Just be careful. Here's a pocket knife. If Chucky does anything, take him out." So he tells him that, and he does stab Chucky. He finally realizes like, "You're bad." But that's when Chucky takes Andy's girlfriend, she's never mentioned ever again.
Yeah, because
it's spoilers.
She's just there just to be the love interest.
Just the love interest because he's a teen. So
and he's like, oh, he likes chicks now. They even make Chucky actually makes a funny joke where he sees Andy's like playpens or Playboys. He's like, oh, Andy, how you've grown.
You're a teen.
Also, why you guys say shit creepy like that?
Chucky. A lot of creepy.
Like, I think in the first one, he says, I gotta go. I got a date with a 6-year-old boy.
We don't talk. We try to avoid it every time we do this.
I can't, but I mean, it's creepy writing,
creepy,
alright, man?
yeah.
Sorry, Don, but the writing's a little
yeah.
creepy, man.
Those lines.
Yeah, like, let's play hide the soul. This all sounds like Predator talk, bro.
Yeah, even the barber just sounds like...
Oh, yeah, the barber was definitely
like,
more to
we're
these
seeing
kids.
some skin now.
Like, bro, why do you have a hair fetish?
You're just like...
Like, Don, you got some shit to work out, man. But, like, but yeah, so it culminates to somehow... Tyler getting chased by Chucky into a carnival. That's like down the road
from these military
shooting grounds.
I don't know how this works.
But yeah, then like I said, at that point it culminates to them getting chased, and then it gets chased into this spook house ride.
Spook house roller coaster.
Which also, by the way, apparently all of the things are dangerous. Yeah. So if you move out of your seat the wrong way, you're getting your head cut off. Because they're going through.
Real scythe.
Yeah, there's a scythe that comes down that's supposed to like miss you barely, but apparently if you actually get hit by it, it decapitates.
It's actually metal.
Yeah, because Chucky gets his face cut off.
It's sheared completely.
Yeah, sheared completely off as he's chasing Tyler up this mountain now. And they
could fall into a lava pit.
It actually reminded me of fucking, what was that, Guts, where they're climbing the Astro Crag.
And he falls in, and there's an unprotected, ungated, spinning industrial fan at the bottom of it.
Apparently he's like spinning with razor blades.
Yeah. Who's running this?
This is like the most unsafe part.
So, this is like you think Don's like, this is a trilogy. And the trilogy is usually the ending of the journey of the villain, the hero, whatever. So Tyler and Andy work together. They thwart Chucky, get him off of Tyler, and he falls into the industrial fan. He is chopped to bits.
Gone.
There's the CEO's dead. They're not bringing good guys back.
Oh yeah. Well, by the way, at this point, like they get out of there, the police take Andy, and it just ends.
And he's like, "Don't worry, I've been through this before." And they just try
and that's it, and it just ends with the shitty music. Don't know what happens.
Don't know how the police wrap this one up.
And they never address what happens.
There's a dead ROTC kid, a dead security guard, a dead general,
dead barber.
Okay, we're blaming it on the kid.
Yeah, there's barely any sort of like it looks like police have ever touched it. Once again, Chicago, man. But anyways, all right, let me just check to make sure this thing's still rolling and we didn't cut off or something. And we are still rolling. Oh, Melody's watching, I think. But what you call it? But yeah, we're still rolling. But we're gonna get into now what I like to consider. I'm gonna
as he calls the gas leak years,
because this is where Don Mancini must have been huffing some shit. Or like, yeah, just like if you see It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
All right, 10 years later, let's do this.
And Charlie and Charlie is like huffing paint, making music in the basement. That is what Don Mancini looks like he was doing with this. Because
10 years later, let's do.
Is that when it takes place?
It takes place 10 years later, but the movie takes place 8 years after.
8 years after the events.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna need this.
No. I'm thinking backwards. I think it is 10 years later after what happened. No. I think it takes place at the same time because it's, 99, 98?
It's 98 the movie came out.
Yeah, I think it takes place in 98 because she says, it took me 10 years to find you.
Okay, alright, so 10 years after the first, so
10 years after the first movie.
After the first movie?
Yes.
Okay, because I was about to say, 10 years after the third movie, I'm like, that's that's impossible. Because by the way, I know it takes place in 1998, the third movie, but it does not look like it's in 1998 at all.
So I think that's what's like. I think Andy's still like 16, 17 if he was in this movie. Andy's not in this movie. I think it takes place shortly after that because they have Chucky's body parts.
Oh yeah, still
in lockup.
Yeah, in lockup and stuff.
Yeah.
But so at this point, so this is why this one is pretty significant. So the film is now a straight up horror comedy.
Yeah.
It's a horror comedy.
More comedy than horror, for sure.
We get the introduction of Jennifer Tilly as Tiffany, which is Chucky's crazy
we
ex.
love. We love
Jennifer Tilly, we do love you.
Yes. But this is Chucky's like ex from way before she knows about him being a serial killer. She's also a serial killer.
This is also when we start getting some more of like the retconning a little bit.
Kind of, because it's like
it gets worse later, but
yes.
But the retconning here is so she's She knew Charles Lee Ray before this entire
and
event.
she knows about the voodoo.
Yes.
She knows about all this because it's like
She's been following it.
Dawn has to think, I need to bring Chucky back again. So I need to introduce. There's no good guy golf company. They're not going to bring back Chucky a third time from the.
There's no company.
They're not going to rebuild Chucky a third time. There's no company. So it's like, we need a character. So it's like, maybe Chucky had an ex. Someone who wanted a relationship with him, but, Chucky, being a serial killer, wants to do his own thing. But she tracked him down. She couldn't find him. All these other movies happened. 1, 2, 3 happened. And she's like, I finally found your parts. They're at this lockup. I bribed this guy to bring it out. And she kills him. She slits his throat. Takes Chucky. And she's the one who builds him back together.
Yeah.
Sews him up. And this is where you get Chucky's more newer design that we go back and forth from throughout the movie.
Yeah, now it's the Frankenstein kind of cut up
stitched
design.
together Chucky.
Which looks cool at
Which
first.
is cool.
This
is
cool.
like early 2000s, late 90s kind of design.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. This is the kind of quality you're going to get from this out the gate. So as you see, the number one, this is shot a lot cheaper.
Yes.
Than the previous movies for sure.
They're set pieces.
They're doing these cheesy kind of like tie-ins where you see Freddy Krueger's claw,
a
hockey mask,
the
chainsaw.
It's all in one universe.
Somehow.
Chucky is in Jason, Freddy, and Texas Chainsaw's universe.
And also
and
somehow
all share the
same evidence locker.
Same evidence locker.
Because it all takes place in Chicago, I guess.
Or that's where they ended up.
Chicago Chainsaw Massacre.
Random Chicago.
Or like, I don't know, whatever.
Or wherever.
And not only that, but once Tiffany gets the doll parts, immediately they just start playing Rob Zombie.
Yes, that's just like, this is a completely, I was going to say, completely Rob Zombie feel. They play
literally
the music,
like
Chucky's design is Rob Zombie.
Tiffany is the big titty goth GF of Chucky. This lady looks like she runs a Hot Topic.
Yes.
When you think of typical edgy goth girl, this is what she is.
Yes.
And
she has a edgy Fako boyfriend who wants to be
this Chris Angel looking piece of shit.
Who wants to be hard and edgy, but she's like, you fake all of this.
And not only that, it's very cringe. It's cringe as fuck watching him do this. And even she's just like, you are a fake. And because she also before this tries to bring Chucky back with the voodoo, and she thought that it
didn't work.
Because also this is when we're also finally introduced to Voodoo for Dummies, which becomes a very big thing.
You could have just given us the Book of Damballa.
No, it's Voodoo for Dummies.
We didn't talk about this time around, but it's like Don doesn't like the voodoo aspect as much as Kirshner and Holland wanted pushed forward.
Yeah, they pushed that.
It doesn't he hates it, but he just wants to focus more on the doll and the serial killer. He doesn't like the.
I feel like it's almost like a backhanded kind of fuck
so
you, or I'm not gonna get into super voodoo. You're going to voodoo.
Voodoo for Dummies, the 90s for Dummies books. They're probably still around.
Yeah, probably.
But those, you can just buy this at Barnes and Nobles and start practicing voodoo. Because
that's literally what she did.
And that's what she did.
And then not only that, so she starts playing with the doll, she's doing some kind of weird role playing thing. It was really awkward. And then she puts the doll on top of the guy.
Because she's doing sexual. So he's handcuffed because
Yeah.
And what's he say?
I forgot what it was.
No. She's like, oh yeah. She's like, the rumors she's telling him about was
she starts talking about the legend of Chucky.
And she's like, oh, this guy's not big enough for you. And then that's when Chucky
comes out. He does the whole revolving his head thing.
Turns his head around and
then he smothers him with a pillow.
That counts, and he smuggles him with the pillow.
And then
they reunite. This is it. So she's got her flame back. She's got her boyfriend back. Chucky is happy to see her. He actually is genuinely happy to see her. But there was apparently some miscommunication or just some misunderstanding. She thought he wanted to marry.
Yeah.
Chucky's like, marry?
Basically just bitch.
What?
And not only that, because apparently that was just a ring that he stole just to pawn off. But she's like, so all these years he's been trying to find, literally, she's been dedicating her life
to finding him, bringing him back, got him a body, brought him back from the dead, and Chucky's just laughing at her because he's a sociopath. He doesn't think like, oh.
And this is kind of like the start of basically what ends up being one of the most toxic relationships in
worse than Joker and Harley Quinn.
Oh, way worse.
Way worse.
Because imagine Joker and Harley Quinn, but they just keep killing each other and coming back and killing each other. So this is just the start. She
gets mad and
puts him in a cage, essentially, and then he breaks out as he always does.
He kind of like being genuine, or at least tries to. He's like, you know what, I was wrong. He's like,
he wasn't being genuine.
Well, he's trying to get out, but he's also he's like, listen, because she sees stuff, and he's like, Tiff, thank you, I'll make it up to you. But then she's still mad, so she throws a Belle doll into the cage with him. She's like, oh, there's your bride. And she throws rice in his face and everything. But Chucky, being the ingenuitive serial killer he is, uses the ring that was on the doll to break out of it's a wooden cage. It's not like a steel cage.
It was a crib that she turned over.
Yeah, it's a crib that she turned over. And he breaks out. He's got the kitchen knife that I like. We didn't talk about this either. I like he had a snake knife in the first Chucky. You see it on all the box art and everything like that. If we had the box art, show it. But then he just goes to kitchen knife like every other go-to. That's his go-to. I wish they kept it as it or brought it back in some like movie.
Yeah, but I mean,
but it's like he gets his kitchen. Because I'm just saying that's his iconic thing. He gets his kitchen knife and he's going after her. She's watching Bride of Frankenstein, of course, in the tub. Chucky tries to assault her. She pushes him off, gets him off, but then he kicks the TV into the tub, killing her. But then he has an even brighter idea. He's like, oh, we're not done, because this is a toxic relationship. I'm bringing you back. And he puts her in the Belle doll. So it's like, now you have to work with me, because at this point he still wants to get a body back.
Yeah.
And now this is where the retcon starts coming in, where it's like, oh yeah, we need to get the heart of Dimbala.
Yeah, because this is when it started. Because never mentioned before. He never said that he had that, and not only that, they never needed it for the spell to begin with, earlier on, where it's just
he never grabbed it or used it. Or
but he's like, if I get this, we can transfer our bodies into anything.
Yeah, so we're good. We don't need it.
So we have to just road trip all the way back to Jersey.
Where I'm buried.
Where I'm buried, and then you get introduced to Katherine Heigl in her least rated Katherine Heigl movie.
She probably never wants to talk about this.
Well, this was at the decline of her career, and
this was the start of her career.
No, it wasn't. This was was this before or after Knocked Up?
This was definitely before Knocked Up. This was like 98. She's like,
I think maybe this.
Oh
well, it's clear her career was over before. Sorry, because she did this, and it just becomes a road trip movie where they con this couple. I'm just gonna try to move it along. Yes. They con this couple into driving them across country to Jersey. By the way, not paying them a lot because he's like, I'll pay you $500 now, $500 later.
It's 90. It's 98. Oscar, $1,000.
I don't give a fuck. The guy was like talking. We're gonna buy a house. We're gonna start a life. Katherine Heigl.
Because they're eloping. They're gonna run away, and they're like, we got $1,000. We can do so much.
In Jersey. Jesus. No, I'm sorry. I don't buy that for a second. But either way, he didn't give a fuck. He just was like, I have to get out of town. I want to take my girl because it becomes this weird thing where the girl's
protective stepdad cop is chasing them on this road
because he also doesn't like this kid.
Yeah, he also
that she's dating.
He's a flame out kid, but he's like, we love each other. We're gonna be together forever. It's like.
Don't forget
my trailer park neighbor Tiffany's giving me $500 now, $500 later.
And every Starcross story, that one of them has to have the super cool gay best friend.
Yeah.
And this guy, he gets it bad.
We'll bring him along too.
Yeah, we'll take him along with us. So it becomes a trip where what happens is they start going on this trip, but as they're going, people are getting killed because it's just Tiffany
the
and Chucky
keeps bringing people to mess with them and get the
but then it's also when they get in the hotel and then the couple and it's
so many people on the way that Chucky doesn't need to kill, but he just kills.
And then it also becomes kind of like a competition between him and Tiffany, who has more creative kills. Which I will say, the coolest one I thought was she did some weird pressurized thing with nails and the what was it, the airbag.
Yeah.
So when it pops open, the nails shoot out, which I don't know how the fuck they managed to do that.
I think it was she somehow rigged the airbag to launch them.
Yeah, when they hit something, but either way.
Because he sees her, and he's like, what's the doll doing? And she's like, now! And she pulls it.
Oh, yeah.
And it as pinheads his face. There's nails that go right, and he's like, Chucky's like, because it's all references this movie because it's a comedy. He's like, this looks so familiar.
And it's they're referencing Pinhead from Hellraiser.
Yeah.
But because apparently at some point he was already in hell at least once.
Yeah, apparently he had to be for 8 years.
Yeah, for 8 years. That's right. But yeah, I mean, like I said, some of the kills were like the couple I was talking about. They break the glass.
Oh, that's a good inventive kill.
And then all the glass falls and
as
then
goofy
cuts
as
them
this
up.
movie is, some of the kills are very inspiring.
And like it actually can be kind of funny.
But then, because we get that good kill, but then we get the weirdest scene after that.
Oh yeah,
romantic.
It was a tastefully done lovemaking scene.
Tastefully done.
Between Chucky and Tiffany. Oh yeah, that's it introduces doll sex.
Yes, we'll get further into that.
I don't want to, but we're going to. But
yeah, introduces doll sex because what bonds them is killing, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is so high, I love you. We've just
and then they just bang and they do a lot of corny jokes and stuff. But like,
then it comes to a head where they just like screw it.
Don't they reveal themselves?
Yes.
Oh no, it's after the best friend.
Oh yeah, the
tracks
them down and is worried, and it's like.
And he's like, I don't believe it, but then he finds the body of the guy with the nails, and
the stepdad's
and he freaks out,
and that's when they're like, the jig's up. They don't even try to
because the gay best friend one calls in the cops, and then he holds it at gunpoint. Waiting for and then Chucky's like, fuck, he's gonna fuck everything up, so he freaks the gay best friend out.
And he backs up into traffic.
And explodes. Which, like...
completely chunks.
I love when they're realistic about it. When someone gets hit by a truck, you will get obliterated like that.
That's speed, yes.
Like, and he, I mean,
See,
I don't...
That's the knife.
Yeah, the snake knife.
We have Chucky in the background.
Yeah, Child's Play 1 is on YouTube for free, so if you can
watch
it,
watch
it's
it
good.
There.
And then at that point, Chucky and Tiffany reveal themselves, and I think at this point it's the third act, and they're
it's the third act.
Yeah, they're already making their way to Jersey.
Jersey by gunpoint, and this is where it gets kind of goofy because
now it gets goofy.
More goofy because they're trying. They can't really communicate to each other both at gunpoint, but they know that they're Joker and Harley Quinn, so they're at each other's throats, annoying each other. So they egg them on. It's like, oh, she does all this for you, and he can't do the dishes. And she's like, yeah. So she throws a dish, and Chucky do the freaking dish.
Yeah. They basically just fight like a married couple.
And then the boyfriend's like, that's how she treats you. Is that?
Oh yeah, they really just pit them against each other, and to the point where I forget. Does he kick Tiffany out the window? Oh no, the oven.
She kicks Tiffany into the oven. Chucky tries to go after her, but then he swerves the car and because Chucky's not wearing seatbelt.
Yeah.
So he I don't know how much
the physics because he crashes through it like
he crashes through the window. But of course they crash right at the cemetery they need to be at.
Oh yeah, they're right near at the exact location they need to be.
That's when they crash the car. So he grabs, I think her name's Jessie.
Yeah, something like that.
And he grabs Jessie. And he's like, I'm getting to my body because they can't kill the couple because they need new bodies. So that's the only reason they're still alive. Because you're wondering like, oh, why did they just shoot?
Yeah, so I think she takes he takes her hostage
and then
he gets Tiffany. The boyfriend gets Tiffany and uses kind of her as some kind of leverage.
Because they bring in another thing that people gloss over too, which doesn't come up again. Police, because there's actually police in this one.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, we found Charles Lee Ray's fingerprints 10 years after his death.
Didn't they introduce some kind of like detective that was working on the case out of nowhere? And he only shows up like the very end.
And but we found his fingerprints, so we're gonna exhume the body to make sure that he's really dead.
Yeah, because that makes sense.
Is that
how you work in Jersey? Is that how it works in Jersey?
That's the first thing you think of, not anything else. It's like, I don't even know why they still have his fingerprints on, but they're like, it's Charles Lee Ray's fingerprints. So that's why the body's already dug up. He needed an excuse for the body already to be dug up. So Chucky sees his own body, and he's like, get in there, open my, and you see it's like a skeleton of Brad Dourif.
and I'm pretty sure the necklace is actually pretty, like, out.
Like, just out and
which,
about.
Which, by the way, I'm just like...
And they show pictures of him dead with it on,
which I'm like,
was not there.
Never brought up. Never brought up. Like, you'd think in some of these movies he would have been like, maybe I should go back and get my thing.
Or like, when he's like, it doesn't work and he's cursed, he's like, maybe I should get the heart of the ball.
No, I'm just gonna get pissed off and get blown up.
Yeah.
But
That's direct.
But yeah, like
Clear.
so they're
So
in this. There's a showdown.
In the cemetery
Yeah, there's a showdown there. It's not good. 'Cause
For some reason now, Tiff has a change of heart or feels bad because she sees that they're actually in love, and Chucky doesn't really love her the way she loves him.
Mm-hmm.
So she betrays him. She stabs him literally in the back.
Yeah.
And they fight, but that's when they get the upper hand on Chucky, because while they're fighting, they get the upper hand on Chucky. And then he's in the grave, and that's when he says the line. You'll see it on, like, if you watch the series or anything on Sci-Fi. He'll say, "I'm back. I'll always come back." And
I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. It was 4 times.
And not for nothing, like, I mean, so like how we praise how they used like the little people in the first movie.
Oh.
In this one, they do the shovel fight.
And it was so.
I'm like, why?
fake.
It looks so bad, and I'm like, this is
Her
terrible.
burnt doll animatronics looked good though.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
do
it looked
really
alright,
good
but yeah, but nah, just I wasn't
that will take you out of it. It's
a lot of this
goofy.
movie already takes you out of
Yes.
it. I mean, like, I'll say this: if you're just into some kind of goofy bad movie,
yeah, you won't be mad at this one. It's not like, oh, you can watch it. You can put it on in the background, watch laundry or something. It's not too scary, so
no, it's literally it's a comedy.
It's comedy.
Like there's a part
aspect. People die, but
yeah, I mean, there's
you're
some
gonna be
goofy
more just like, that's
like there's a part where they're literally smoking pot in the van. I'm seeing Chucky just taking it. It's funny. Like I mean, but other than that, like it's not. No, it's bad. It's bad, but it's not like you're not gonna get mad at it. Like Paul said, but like I would say
in between.
If it's free and you're that curious or you're really into the Chucky movies,
or you're like us,
yeah, then watch it. Go ahead. If it's free, don't pay for this shit.
You don't have to pay for this.
Because now we're about to get into something dark.
Wait, let's just give them to lead into the end credit scene of this.
That's right. I didn't say it. All right, you do it. Yeah.
So the detective shows up after the aftermath. Don't know how this was cleared up. There's like 2 or 3 dead bodies and a dead doll. No, there's only 2 dead bodies.
Oh, because he sees them. He's the one that kills Chucky, right?
No. Oh no, yeah, he did see them.
He's the one that kills Chucky.
No, she takes the gun from the detective and kills Chucky.
And then
he's there, and I guess he
lets him go. Which doesn't make sense. And he's just like, because he's like, I don't know how I'm gonna explain this.
So they.
It's kind of like almost like a throwback to the first movie where the detective's like, I don't know
what
how
are
to
we gonna say. Yeah, it's like, what are you gonna say? What are you gonna say?
Yeah, like
what can I?
It's kind of like an alright throwback, even though it makes no sense because this detective comes out of nowhere. But either way, yeah, you keep
because they needed a gun.
Yeah.
So they've left. It's just the detective, but you think Tiffany's dead after she gets stabbed by Chucky, but then she starts writhing back to life and starts screaming, and the detective's like kind of turned on.
Is that how his mood was?
Like he was like this.
Oh,
like he was gonna lift up the skirt and it's like,
oh, ew.
Yeah, that's why I remember because it's like, and she's all burnt. But then that's when she starts writhing when he's about to touch her.
Oh,
and then he's like, oh, what's happening? And then she's writhing, and then like her stomach starts gurgitating, and then just blood splatters on the detective's face. And then this little baby doll with razor teeth comes out of her womb, starts screeching, and the detective's in pure shock, and then it latches onto his face like a face hugger.
And that's credits.
That's the credit.
That's credit. Basically, it ends with
that's what we're left with.
The child of
5-6 years.
Oh yeah, because it really is that one. So it's
2003.
Oh, 2004. 2004 is the next one. Which, by the way, I don't know how either of these movies made it to theaters.
Yeah, well, the theaters. Oh, okay. No,
theaters.
because those first Chucky movies are still wildly popular. Even though I think 3 took a dive. Let me see how much.
It made money, but not enough.
No.
It was on a $13 million budget, I believe, but it only made $20 million.
It made $20 million back, but it still made some money. So it's like
it
wasn't a complete box office failure.
I know, but come on, Bride Devil took an even bigger dive, and now this one is the Hiroshima level fuck up that really almost ruined the franchise.
He loves explaining the intros.
Okay, so. This is how many times we've done this fucking review. So, Seed of Chuck, 2004, and at this point, there's no excuse because it's directed and written by Don Mancini himself. Once again, like I said, he was huffing some shit.
There's no one to say no.
There isn't. So this is a full-on comedy now. This is no longer. I mean,
Yeah.
this. I mean, the beginning actually is very
The
promising.
only horror you could say is that people die. But you could say.
I don't know. The beginning wasn't bad. I'll say this.
The fake out beginning, you mean?
Yes. So here's because it gets into the because I think the credits come before that anyways,
Yes.
and that's when you're already off put. So the
movie's
opening
already
credits,
dead before.
yeah, it's literally DOA. This is a stillbirth movie because it opens up with this horrible CG of number one. You just see white coming down on the screen because I think it's supposed to represent just spooch.
No, it doesn't represent. It is spooch. It's literally-
And then there's an
going down a fallopian tube.
And you're going down a fallopian tube as Chucky's sperm entering Tiffany's ovum.
The only way to make it goofier is the sperm had like red hair.
Oh, it didn't have Chucky faces on it.
It didn't have
did
Chucky
Okay,
faces.
okay.
It just-
But like, but you're watching this. You're watching the egg get fertilized, and then it goes
And,
to
like,
white.
I think they like hyper speed it up too to show a baby. I think.
That's when the seed of Chucky thing comes
Yeah,
on, and then it
that's-
opens
oh,
up to
that's-
the fake opening, which
Fake opening.
because
Best part
that
of the
intro
movie.
fucked me up already.
Yeah.
And then when we get into the intro, I'm like, oh my god, maybe this will actually be good. Because it starts off with, I haven't seen this before, it's the first person view of the girl picking up a doll, presumably, going, oh, this is my birthday present or something.
And she's like, oh, it's hideous.
It's so gross looking. I'm like, alright. So she puts the doll down.
Kind of already like intrigued at what this new doll is. Because we knew that Chucky would have an offspring, but we had no idea what it would look like.
Or we don't know if it's actually Chucky himself, because she could be saying it's ugly because Chucky's all cut
they
up.
always
still.
say Chucky's ugly too.
Yeah.
throughout
Yeah, it's
the
kind of like a
episode.
joke, an ongoing joke.
Ongoing joke. As he gets more human.
But like like I said, they put the doll away, but then obviously the doll comes out of the box, starts rummaging around the house, but it's all first person.
It's all first person, and it's played completely seriously right now.
Yep. And
After that intro, but this is played completely seriously. Dark music, dark tone, like the lighting is completely. Like,
yeah, it's dark. I mean, it's a little done cheaply. I'm just gonna say this because at this point it starts taking on almost like a TV movie quality.
Yes.
But
takes on it is.
but yeah, it is pretty much a TV movie.
I wouldn't even
quality.
recommend watching this on TV.
But so you get to see these kills where like even like there's one where he kills the dad and he actually rides him
downstairs, like he falls past the banister and just falls down.
and he rides him down and then
he runs immediately right back up the stairs.
kills the mom in the shower, right?
Yes, he goes into the shower, starts trying to get at her. She slips, cracks her neck.
And I think he's about to kill the daughter, or no, she turns around and then the daughter's there. And then this is when it just.
And then we.
So so this is where we're at, right? So
we went like this, and then we kind of slowly
Yes.
coming back up the roller coaster, and then you want.
And then, bam! Hiroshima smoke.
Because crashes and you've fallen out of the roller coaster. It's exploded.
Oh my god! There's limbs everywhere. It's literally like the Major Payne story of the little train that could.
Next line, the girl. He turns around to go kill the girl. She's looking at him. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, you're hideous and you're pissing your pants. You're pissing your pants." And he looks down the doll because we're seeing it from his first point of view, and he's just peeing. And then we finally see the reveal of Glenn. That's you learn it will be
Chucky's
their name.
Yeah, because at this point you don't even know, but I guess you can assume at this point it is Glenn, Chucky's son.
Chucky's son. And
but
he's woken up from a nightmare because he has these.
And he's pissed himself, I believe.
He's pissed himself in real life as well, and he's in Britain.
he somehow is in England. Do they
I don't
really
know.
explain it?
No. Well, they said like the guy found him.
Because he was in the, I don't know, the guy found him.
area.
Yeah, he was in there and he picked him up like at a cemetery.
I guess he just forgot the dead detective.
Or he just didn't care.
Didn't care. He's like, oh, there's a talking doll here. Let me take.
I'm gonna take this thing, and goes back all the way to Britain and makes a whole.
And it's like, I'll make a whole freak show off of this. So you can take it from me.
And it's also voiced by one of the people from Lord of the Rings. It's either Merry or Pippin. We always forget about this.
I gotta look at him now, but
because he is a straight up English boy sounding motherfucker. Like he has a deep English accent. It actually would have been fun if he had a Cockney accent.
He might as well have.
because at a certain point, like, so he's being used for this freak show, and then the guy, I guess,
Pippin.
and then
Billy Boy.
Oh, okay, Billy Boy Pippin, and so one day he's watching TV and he sees that.
Oh my god.
He sees that they're making a. This is when also once again the retconning starts again, and not even really retconning. We become meta.
No, it's meta. Retconning is gone. They're just reshaping the entire.
Yeah, and it just becomes meta now. So now he's in a universe where they're making a Chucky and Tiffany movie.
Yes. Chucky goes psycho.
Which is supposed to be. Is that also a Christmas movie too? Apparently. And oh my god, why can we never escape these outside noises? Every time it's either someone getting towed, there's some crickets. Silence! Alright, I think it's worked. That worked. I'm gonna get a rock through the window. But so really, bro? Alright, whatever. I'm gonna keep talking through this. Yeah, I don't care. It doesn't matter. This part of the movie series doesn't matter.
Stupid anyways, yeah.
So he sees on TV that they're making this movie about his presumable parents, which also, by the way, I don't know how he kind of figures that out.
Well, he's like, was it Made in China?
Oh, he sees the Made in China, and then the Made in China is on. Which, by the way, I guess when you're born a doll, you still get Made in China put on there.
I don't know.
And I love how your brain already started breaking.
But it's like we went over this, even just outside of reviews. It's like we don't get how this works. Did the Belle doll have a baby in it, or did Chucky and Tiff's doll romance create this baby? Because why would he have a Made in China thing unless there was already a baby inside the Belle doll? That's like,
so it could be one. Yeah, but also, why would they? Well, actually, no. Technically, it's a bride doll, so it's not like a kid doll. So it could be. I don't know. Yeah. See, they don't answer any of this shit. They don't answer any of this shit. But either way, that's what his tie is in.
That's what ties him into. Those are my parents.
Which, by the way, does that mean if he saw a different commercial, like a G.I. Joe commercial, and he saw Made in China or Taiwan, like G.I. Joe or
a really different movie? That's
we would get like the Chucky into the Toy Story universe.
Yeah.
And then, so anyways, he goes, I have to go to America to meet my parents, and he escapes pretty easily.
For some reason, he still has the heart of Damballa. I guess the guy took it with him when he took Glenn.
I guess, but then why would he leave it with Glenn? You would think a guy like that would have pawned it off or something.
I don't know.
But he has the heart of Damballa, and
he makes his way to good old California, L.A.
Somehow mails himself.
I don't even. We just see.
Oh yeah, he just shows up, right?
We just see a plane thing, and he's there. He just shows up. Not even in a box.
He just shows up.
Shows up.
And he shows up on the set too, no less. And
undiscovered.
Which, by the way, doesn't once again rules out the window at this point because these animatronic dolls he tries to talk to are just these things that the studio made. Yeah. No ties. It has no original parts.
They're not alive. They're
not refurbished.
No, not refurbished. Are they not?
No, they're not refurbished dolls. They're full animatronics made for this meta movie.
Yeah.
And he goes there, tries to talk to him, and realizes he has to somehow use the heart of Damballa.
Yes.
And he's
like,
back.
He's just like, oh, I have this. He doesn't know to use it. He's just like, this is the only thing left me, Mom and Dad. And it says something on the back. He starts reading it there, and it's the Chucky Damballa chant.
Yeah.
How they do it.
Yeah.
And that just brings. He doesn't
have to do a pentagram, no candles.
He doesn't even need to think about getting them back. Doesn't have to do anything. He's just like, if I just say the chant, narrow their bodies, that brings them both back to life. And that's
all it takes. Because now also, at this point they're like, okay, now it becomes this whole thing where now that I really think about it. Oh no! They started having a story because at this point there's not really a story.
Oh, that's why I said it too, because they said it was from the cemetery and stuff, and that's why he picks up kind of what's going on, but not. Then he confirms it by the maiden.
Oh, I got you. All right, I see. But that's
it's
really
still stupid.
So at this point now they basically just go. They're all together, they're kind of figuring each other out.
No, they were. Yeah, I had to look. They are repaired from their. They used the original remains of the two dolls from.
Oh, really?
Yes, to make the animatronics.
Why do they keep doing that?
Well, they have to explain somehow to tie their souls.
But I feel like they didn't even explain that. It just happened. Like
it just happened in the movie. But I'm saying
no. But in the movie, I feel like they never said.
Like, this is how their souls, because reuse the original bodies from the cemetery.
Also,
which why and how and
yeah.
wouldn't that be police evidence? No. Okay.
Also, it's Hollywood, man.
It's
They
Hollywood.
can do whatever they want.
We're making a movie, okay? So we need those. Okay.
Oh, cheers, sweet cheers. Because it doesn't. Once again, I'm pretty sure they don't even say in the movie that. They might say that in like Don Mancini's explanation, but I don't think they say it in the movie. I really don't.
I don't remember exactly because it's been like a few months.
But either way, that's dumb.
That's
like,
dumb.
No,
I think that is the explanation.
That is. Stop doing that, people in the Chucky universe. Stop making things out of old things that are cursed.
I think that's what we're doing.
Like, that's so stupid. And so
correct us.
But so at this point now, they kind of figure because we're still in the. At this point, we're still kind of in the cusp of the. We have to get still new bodies. We have to get new bodies.
Yes, I thought you meant cusp.
No.
Seriousness.
No. We're going to get new bodies. That becomes the rest of the story, and then Jennifer Tilly is now reintroduced as Jennifer Tilly.
Like she's playing herself.
Yes, in this movie.
It's completely meta. They're making fun of her. This ongoing joke throughout these movies that you're getting fat or you're putting on the path.
Yeah, stop doing that, guys.
Why? We keep going.
Yeah, we keep doing that. Stop doing that, guys.
Like she's sneaking chocolate bars on set, and it's.
It's just so sad. Like, also, that was a product of the '90s in general. It's just.
I think that's where we get the
early
first
2000s. Yeah.
Is the actual prop director gets his the real life prop director gets his head sliced off by Chucky and Tiffany.
Yeah. Oh, and then this is also. As Chucky and Tiffany are killing people, Glenn is kind of slowly shorting out.
Yes, he blacks out, starts peeing a little, and then that's when they try to check. They're like, "What are you?" So they're gonna change him because he's peed himself, and he has no gender. He has no parts down there, nothing. So
he's a legit doll. He's a doll.
So it's like, "What do we call you?" And then Chucky's like, "Of course his name. He's a boy. He's Glenn." And then but then Tiffany's like, "Oh no, Claire's a girl, Glenda."
And then it just becomes this weird thing between
starts a schism,
gender confusion, and also I guess it starts showing because he's getting traumatized.
Yeah, and then moral things. So Tiffany's on the side of we need to be a good example for our son. We can't just be randomly killing people anymore. And it's like a sitcom.
So yes, it's a sitcom. It's a sitcom.
Fine, babe, I won't kill people anymore. And he literally does this. He literally does the fingers behind the back.
Oh my god! The more you talk about it, I'm just getting angrier and angrier. Okay,
so that's the plot. They sneak into Jennifer Tilly's limo, sneak to her house, and that's where most of the movie takes place. Jennifer Tilly's house. So it's only really one set.
This is a cheap ass movie.
So it's just Jennifer Tilly's big house. I won't even say mansion. It's just a bigger house, and most of it takes place there. They jump a few locations, but most of it takes place there, where they're trying to get Jennifer Tilly and her driver's body.
Yeah, because the driver has a crush on Jennifer Tilly, but she's just kind of thinking she has to sleep around. Because we also get introduced to the celebrity guest, Redman. Because it is like a sitcom. You described it perfectly. It's a sitcom. Because you have this, even though Jennifer Tilly's technically a celebrity, but you have the random guy that you wouldn't think to see in the movie to come in, like Redman, who's obviously trying to just kind of sleep with Jennifer Tilly to get her into the new movie he's doing. And she doesn't sleep with him because it becomes this whole thing where I think they knock them out, right? Yes. And they artificially...
They're about to try, she's about to I guess I have to do this. And then Tiffany knocks them out. And she needs Chucky to...
we have to do this now.
Because Glenn needs a body too. And
I don't want to explain this part. You explain this part.
So they need Chucky's...
Oh god!
Obviously, to make a Glenn, he's getting more trouble. We kind of need.
I warned him that this was going to happen when we talked about this. This is such a bad part.
I need a sample. We need to make a new baby. So it's I need a sample, Chucky. And Chucky's like, fine. What do you want me to do? He's like, do something. She gives him a porno, a turkey pig, a cup, like a little cup.
It's a cup, like a Dixie cup.
Dixie cup. And she's like, just get to work. We gotta move. So Chucky's like, fine, and he's looking through the pornos, hates most of them, and he finds a phantasmagoria porno.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, this works.
Fangoria.
And he's like, so he starts jacking it. This is where Oscar's like, Chucky is dead. He sold me this when we were kids. When this movie's like, Chucky is dead, because this is the scene. There's a paparazzi, John Waters, out outside trying to get pics of Jennifer Tilly for his.
For paparazzi purposes, and because at this point, I think there's in a weird position where it looks like Jennifer Tilly's going down. Red Man.
And he got.
And it's just a weird,
Then he looks up to see Chucky silhouette yanking it. And he thinks it's like
a midget.
And he thinks it's some midget and it's some midget play. And he's like, oh yeah, he's going at it.
Oh yeah, it was so bad.
Like, Chucky is dead.
And then next thing you know,
he was dead at the beginning, but this Chucky is.
So there's this part that always bothered me too. So he clearly goes in the cup.
Yeah.
And then Jennifer Tilly gets the turkey baster. That turkey baster is full. How much jizz did fucking...
He really loves Fangore.
Yeah, but that was like half of his body weight worth of jizz.
Because he comes
and
down because
like,
Jennifer Tilly kind of comes back awake after being knocked out, and then she's like, oh, look, because she sees Tiffany, and then Chucky comes down and she's like, what do I do with this? And he's just throwing the cup in his thing. And then he tries to run away and she knocks him out. They get them both in the bed to
make it look like they were having sex.
And she gets a turkey baster out,
which, by the way, is full and dripping. And
she impregnates.
Jennifer Tilly. And it just after this, it just becomes more. It's sitcom shenanigans
because they see the paparazzi take off. So she's like, "You got to take care of that." He's like, "Remember, no killing." No killing. He's like, "You want to come on a road trip?" This is Oscar's favorite scene. So they go chase down this paparazzi, but they need a car because they're adults. They can't run on foot like miles. So
they do some little rascals,
where one's working the pedals, the other's working.
And there's a wheel, and it's just.
And they see a celebrity coming on the opposite side of the road.
How dare you, Don Mancini? How dare you?
And it's Britney Spears, and she's driving.
Not even really Britney Spears. It's some fake-ass Temu version of Britney Spears.
Temu Britney Spears. Wish Britney Spears is driving on the other side, and she's like, I think she's even playing her own song.
She is. She's blasting and she's being a dick and flipping him off.
Yeah, and then Chucky's like, oh, hell no. And he's like, knocks her off the road. Her car, because it's the hills of Hollywood, so her car careens off the road, explodes. And as Chucky and then go by, he says to the light, he's like, oops, I did it again.
I was
and Oscar,
so livid.
Oscar's just hands in head at this
Just
point.
like this. Like, when I watch that movie, I'm literally like this. And the only reason that I watch that movie is because we do this review, and we've had to do this review like 4 times. This is what hell is. This is that we have to talk about this movie over and over again. It's like Groundhog Day, but worse.
It's our penance.
Right? I hope at this point we can publish this and I can go to heaven finally
everything
and review good movies.
Review good. Is that ever going to happen?
No, not for this channel.
So that happens and we're already checked. We've been checked out, but we're just glazed over.
Because at this point, the only thing that's really going on story-wise...
There's no horror and there's no story. We don't care.
No, the story is they have to try and...
Do we care, though?
They're impregnating these...
Yes.
Do
we care?
Oh, okay, no. I'm trying to remember the story. So
the story is she's impregnated and they're waiting for the birth to happen because it's an accelerated voodoo birth. So they're waiting for that to happen, but they need to cover their tracks as well.
This takes place over the span of 3 days.
3 days.
Max.
Tops, yeah. So he goes to he gets the pictures so they're not found out, and kills John Water. I think Glenn accidentally kills him by just...
Yeah, he does.
And Chucky's like, I'm so proud of you, and they take a picture together.
Oh yeah, the acid death.
Acid death. Cool death thing, but it's in a stupid as hell movie. So
yeah. I mean, most of the deaths are... Yeah. Like, there's one... Is it this one where they kill the assistant on fire?
Yes.
That was... It would have been cool if you didn't see that fake ass dummy fly down, just flop in like it was
like a couple funny stories.
It was literally like one of those what was it, a CPR dummies they threw down there with a wig, and I'm just like, this is so. You guys had no budget at this point, I assume, because
what's happened. So she got the accelerated birth, so she's like 9 months pregnant after 2 days. She's strapped to the bed. They're waiting for all this to happen, but they're getting more suspicious of each other, and Tiffany starts hating Redman because he's only just literally using her for sex.
That's it.
So she disembowels him and she's like, oh, I feel so bad. I promised I wouldn't kill, but I'm killing. And then they confront each other. It's like, you've been killing. Yeah.
It's literally a sitcom.
It's a sitcom.
Because when she goes, what about this? It opens a closet
and there's
and
like
some six bodies fall
that
out.
we've never seen or
And
don't
then-
even know when he had the time to kill these.
Yep, and then Glenn and finally Glenn like pees himself, and I think at this point the schism
He
happens,
snaps completely, and then we see the other side of Glenn,
which is
Glenda, which is he identifies as female, but he's the serial killer
Is he,
version.
are they wearing the wedding dress
The
that
wedding
his
dress.
mother wore?
Yes,
Okay.
they're wearing that and a wig. Don't know where either of these things came from.
Yeah. Also, there's no pretext because
No
she came in her
pretext,
Tiffany outfit,
yeah.
not the wedding dress.
Yeah. So, so he's wearing that, and he blow torches the assistant that comes in and onto the scene.
Dumbest fucking death. Well, dumbest looking death.
Dumbest looking one. There's dumber deaths. We'll get.
Okay, well the Red Man one was pretty dumb, but at least the intestines.
The
were
intestines
cool.
were cool, but who cares if he?
Yeah,
dies?
sorry, Red Man.
Sorry, Red.
Staying how high.
Like, no, it's like we love you, Redman, but like, who cares if you die in the movie?
This is a bad
No one
movie,
cares.
man. Like, oh god.
But so they've uncovered it, and everything's come to a head. So Glenda is there, and she's a serial killer. She's extra British and extra murdery, and Chucky likes this. But now they come to a head because they have the driver, Jennifer Tilly, and she gives birth to twins. Because of course, so
Wasn't
now,
it more than twins?
It's two. It was two.
There's only two?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought she was one of those
As
that
we
was
know
like.
from.
I forgot because I thought it was one of the. I keep thinking it was one of those things where she kept having like multiple babies,
No,
but no, it was only the two because
it's
these are
the
the
two
twins.
because they have to choose because it's like, all right, they have everything set up. There's no one to interrupt. Everyone's dead, so there's no one to interrupt them. Nothing's happening, and she's like, okay, Glenn, choose one. It's like, boy, girl, choose. Chucky, you choose for him. And Chucky's like, you know what? I'm done. This is stupid. What are we doing? It's like,
This is the turn in the
This is
franchise.
the turn in the franchise, which is an interesting turn for Chucky. He's like, what are we
This
doing?
might only be the only significant
Piece
thing
from-
in this movie.
Well, and Glenn, but it's like,
I mean, that's a goofy kind of
Goofy
byproduct. This
yeah.
one is actually because it changes the character of Chucky at this point.
His motive and who
Yeah,
he
his
is,
motive and who he
his
is.
defining
Yeah,
character
yeah.
at this point is he's like, I'm done with this. I don't want to be some dude, the driver, and you're gonna be some washed out actress. It's like, I am Chucky, the killer doll. That's who I've been, and this is who I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
So he's done, and Tiffany's like, what the hell's wrong with you? You're insane.
Like, I don't want to do
wanna
this.
yeah, I don't want to be a doll forever.
I mean, yeah, because at this point it's just like, yeah, he's kind of just, I'm
Yeah,
going to
she's
be
like,
this.
I'm
And
going to be this, and Tiffany's like, oh, hell.
once again, like I said, like, I am leaving you and I'm
leaving
taking
you,
the
I'm
kid.
taking the kid, and Chucky's like, no, no one leaves me like this.
Yeah, and-
it's a good sitcom. So
And this is when it
they
starts with the
fight.
back and forth.
I forget, somehow the cops were called onto the scene because they have to split, and they get her into the hospital with the kids to like, because they don't know what's happening. There's bodies, a dead driver.
Because
guy.
so
They're both
so
strapped
Jennifer
to
so
bed.
Jennifer
I don't know
Tilly,
how they explain.
I think that the dead driver, then the Jennifer Tilly gets taken to the
I
hospital.
think
So
they
do the
blame it on the
babies.
assistant saying she did all this inside.
No, because I'm pretty sure when they're at the hospital. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. If they're at the hospital, I think Jennifer Tilly's cuffed because they think that she's the one that did everything.
somehow and strapped herself
And pregnant and gave birth and like. But like I know they kept her as a suspect for
They
sure.
kept her as a
But I
suspect
think
for
you might be
caution.
right that they
I think
don't
they
know.
blamed it on the assistant. I'm
Because
just
at the
saying,
end of the
we
day-
try to put some logic into this insanity.
There's none.
It never it never
There's
works,
none.
but I try. I'm sorry. That's just how my brain works. I
You
try.
can't.
I
You can't.
I
And that's
try.
why we always get caught up on this one because it's so ridiculous. Don, what the fuck were you huffing, bro?
Because this movie comes to a head at the hospital. The last set piece we have. Well, I guess one more with the epilogue, but it's like we're at the hospital. Tiffany and Glenn get in there, of course, unintruded, undiscovered, because as one does, in a multiple murder suspect. There's no detective, there's no security, there's no like aide watching them. No,
Because you know why, Carl? Because Don would have to write around all that. And he can't
kill
do
someone
that.
else,
And
like,
you can't
we
do
don't have
that.
enough time. There's only 10 minutes left in the movie.
We
can't-
literally have $5 left. We have to get this moving.
Get it going. So they get in, and she's about to do the ritual. But Chucky gets in with a fire axe right behind him because she locks the door, and he's like, because again, we have to meme and reference everything. So he goes, boom, and he starts
he
going to
does
say,
that.
here's Chucky. But he doesn't say, here's Chucky, because it's like saying, here's Johnny. No, he doesn't say, he's like, can't think of anything to say.
Oh yeah, you smart piece of shit.
'Cause
Fuck you, man.
And we're just rolling our eyes as far back in our heads as we can go at this point. So he gets in. She's trying to do the transfer, but then Chucky drives the axe into her head, and you think Tiffany's dead. And Glenn, this is when Glenn snaps complete, but now it's Glenn. It's not Glenda, it's Glenn.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to stand up to my father. I've been scared of all this murder stuff, but now I'm standing up to him. And he uses his kung fu that he learned.
Oh, because there is an underlying joke when he thinks he's made in Japan.
Japan, sorry.
Made in Japan.
He's Japanese. Yeah.
And he starts speaking in Japanese, thinking he is Japanese.
Yes.
With an English
like,
accent, by the way.
Yes.
And let's really break this down. So this is the child of a serial killer couple, and then
Japan thinks he's Japanese, thinks his parents
are Japanese, talks Japanese, but he's from England.
Yeah, so he uses,
and then he uses karate, like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon karate, or kung fu, and kicks the shit out of Chucky, dismembers him
with the axe. Chucky is actually proud of this because it's like, oh, my son's is a real killer. Yep. But then we discover in the epilogue that Chucky didn't kill Tiffany. They did switch bodies.
Yep, they switched bodies.
And Tiffany is in Jennifer Tilly's body, I guess, continuing to be an actress, doing her thing. And they separated the soul into the twins. So Glenn's good side is in there, and then Glenda's dark side is in the girl. And there's I think it's a babysitter or a maid.
It's the maid, or like the housekeeper.
She kills her because she's like, your daughter's freaky and I don't want to be around her. And she kills her for that reason.
Because she's supposed to be like, oh, I'm still ruthless, fucking Tiffany.
I'm still Tiffany.
And obviously, whatever. And so,
so
but then
that's when we get the reveal. And then this weird ending, which I still try to explain, is it's Glenn and Glenda's 5th birthday, so it's 5 years afterwards. He opens a present, and it's Chucky's arm, and he starts getting scared and painting himself. And then the arm grabs him, and that's where we end the movie.
By the way, never mentioned again.
End the series for a decade. Yeah.
For now. Was it about a decade?
About 9 years.
9 years.
2013.
2013 is cursed.
Yeah.
All right. So now that we've finally worked through that one,
we
are now in the redemption era, because this entire series so far, Chucky has been getting the shit kicked out of him. Yes. Nothing has been going his way, and he's just been getting dicked over left and right.
He's back.
He's back, and here's the thing. So at this point in the franchise, they are not releasing these in the theaters anymore.
No,
this came out went straight to DVD and certain streaming services and stuff. But they went straight to DVD with this one, and honestly, it's kind of fucked up because this was a huge jump in quality and return to form. This goes back to just being horror. It's not even really funny anymore. It's horror now. It's horror again.
There's very little jokes.
Yeah, it's very so. You open up with this. It's a completely different story too, by the way. It's different cast. Once again, in the last movie, he changed his motivation. He's not looking for a body anymore.
He's Chucky the killer doll now. So there's no body. But we go to this new family, this new house that he...
so what happens is, there's, number one, we get introduced to Nico, who becomes a very integral part of the new final girl kind of thing. So, Nika and then her mother, who are kind of like shut-ins in this house, and they get delivered a package. Nika is in a wheelchair. She's handicapped, from the waist down. And the mother is kind of going through some weird depression thing. That's I don't know what if it's because she lost the father or something else happened. But actually, you're right. We do find out why she's like this. But she is literally shut-in. She doesn't want to leave.
Like she wants to be there for her mom. And she can't really do much on her own. But she could have left, they said. But no, she stays there for the mom. While the other siblings... And
you kind of get this notion, too, that she really wants to even have a life.
Yeah,
but
she wants to do art.
Because, there's a point where, once again, she's getting delivered the package. And she's kind of flirting with the delivery guy. And the delivery guy is like really giving her like hints, and she's like, "Was he flirting?" And then the mom's like, "No, don't bother. You're crippled. Go over there." Like it literally, it's like the Carrie syndrome.
But it's like basically.
It's like the Carrie syndrome. Like, no, I'm your only friend. Get over there. Be crippled. And and then what you call it?
Curse. I said curse.
Yeah, this is the curse, Chucky. And they get delivered the package, and it's the doll. It's the Chucky doll, and they don't understand why. And actually, I honestly, as an audience member, you don't understand why this doll gets delivered to this house. And then obviously
it's the Pierce family.
Yeah, and Nika Pierce, so they get delivered the doll.
We don't know what's going on now.
And we are back also to the point where Chucky isn't just automatically revealed.
No,
it's kind of just hinted.
He's doing it methodically.
Yes, so he's pretty much just a doll for the majority of this movie. And then the mother dies unexpectedly from an accident that they don't explain, but you know for a fact it's fucking Chucky.
Yes.
And they do this cool thing. And once again, the direction in this is still, it's still directed and written by Don Mancini.
Yes.
Which is like, he has this habit, and we'll say this later on, where he starts like, I'm going to be like true to form, like this, but after a while...
Well, Seed was definitely a wake-up call.
He can't...
he can't go off the rails.
No, but he also can't keep from going off the rails.
Yeah, well, we see that.
He can't help himself. He's he is like the Tyler Perry of horror. Like, he can't help himself
There's
with
so many aspects
being
he can't
goofy.
just let go, and then...
And like...
When he gets too much... That's the thing, like we said, the first three were mostly successful. So they give him a bigger budget, and he can't help himself, and they give him more control.
And
then
he's
they
like,
give
I'm
him,
going to go
you're
crazy.
now you're now just writing and producing. You're directing too. So it's like, oh, so now I'm in all three chairs. Now it's like,
and but once again, this one's true to form. Like the direction I thought was cool, cinematography. Like they do this whole thing with the intro where Chucky is sitting on a chair, and they just kind of pan around Chucky to show the passage of time.
No. Yes.
And no, in the bathroom. But what you call it? So and like I said, it's shot very dark. The budget is definitely lower in this one, which isn't a detriment either. It's not a detriment because the way they shoot it, once again, it definitely looks like it should go straight to DVD. But honestly, if they went to theaters with how they directed this, it would have been, I think, done okay. Because once again, and get introduced to these cast of characters like Nika's sister, right? Nika's sister, her family, and then they bring in a priest.
Nika's sister, her family, and the priest.
And the priest to kind of like, because this is a certain amount of time has passed since the mother died. I think only like a month or so, something like that. And she's like cleaning up the house and cleaning out all the mom's stuff, and she's still freaking out. They just finished the funeral. And now the sister's coming in to kind of settle affairs and, you know, kind of settle everything with Nika and see if she needs anything.
Yeah.
But during this time, the Chucky doll is still there, and once again, Chucky is kind of fucking with the person that he thinks is the one that fucked with him. Yeah. Because he already took out the mom. He took out the mom, but now he's just kind of messing with Nika.
Yes. He's getting vindictive, like messing with this family. So he'll scurry around the house, move things, or just do weird things. But the sister has a daughter who comes upon Chucky in the bathroom. It's like, she's like, how to use the bathroom? And she comes upon Chucky, and you think it's going to be, they make it suspenseful, but you don't see what happened. But she comes out, and she's like, Chucky! And like, Nika's just like kind of weird. It's like, what's it doing in the bathroom? I don't even like remember where we put this doll. It's just, but it's obviously you're not thinking all these dolls come to life or anything at this point.
Yeah. Even though as an audience member, and if you're a fan, then you know,
you're walking.
But I do appreciate the fact that Dawn is treating us like we don't know, and you know
what's happening, what's going on. It's still suspenseful.
Yeah, and also like I said, the way they direct this was great. Like I think my favorite scene, or at least one of my favorite kill scenes, was when he poisons the soup.
Yes, because Chucky does. We know that Chucky's alive at this point because he does, when she goes upon him, like raise his arms up to greet her. But we don't know what. Like we think it's going to be a violent encounter, but it's like, oh, I have Chucky. So she thinks it's just a regular doll.
Yeah.
And we all, at this point, that's what like the audience knows.
And this chick is Nika's niece.
So they're bringing the priest over to, like, I guess to console Nika and.
Yeah, because it's the sister that really tries to kind of like she's trying to like
get her out of this.
Get out of the house because they're trying to sell it, right?
Sell it, like get the money because they're not doing good. The Nika's sister's family, they're not.
Yeah. But like we were saying, like so, and like I said, that there's a scene where they're all having dinner.
Nika and Barb.
Yeah, they're all having dinner and they're all having this kind of soup thing, and Chucky poisoned one of them.
It's a very interesting tense scene where they all have soup and Chucky puts rat poison, like downs it in them.
And you see it. They almost look like Russian roulette. Like you don't know who's getting it.
They spin the table and everyone sits down, and it's I guess the soup is like spicy or like
so
a lot of people are sweating and like ooh this soup.
You don't know who gets it,
and they're like ooh what'd you put in this, Barbara?
And it's like I said, it's a tense scene, it's a cool scene, and then by the end you realize it was the priest that got it. He's driving home. He starts trying to drive home and. Somehow, I guess rat poison makes you just freak out. Veer off the road and he gets decapitated or some crazy shit.
He gets the car is complete total and he's in the car like this.
Oh, there's like a piece of metal.
And they're trying to get him out. But when they open the car,
his head
falls completely.
Yeah, but it was. I mean, the kills in this are actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
What do you call them? Not the babysitter. She's like this.
It's an au pair.
Au pair. That's what I'm like. That's the name I was thinking of this whole time because
it's a living babysitter.
Au pair for the twins too at NC. That's
that's right.
That's what I was thinking of before. Yeah, there's an au pair, and she's actually cheating with Barb on the husband.
Which, by the way, they kind of do a cool thing where you think it's the husband cheating with the au pair, but it's literally the wife.
They flipped that. It's the wife, and Chucky sees upon this. Oh, he's like, I'm gonna mess with the au pair now. So they're about to do some phone, internet.
Oh, like phone sex shit?
Yeah, striptease. So this is when Chucky reveals himself. She's sitting there, and Chucky, there's like a water bucket.
I remember this stuff.
Yeah. Because Don, as we'll learn, Don Mancini's favorite type of death is by electrocution.
That's actually, he really likes electricity. You're right, he does like electricity.
We've seen it through the first
you're right.
That's his favorite type of death, he said, is electrocution. So he kicks over the bucket, shocks her. Barb doesn't know what's happening because the feed's getting cut out because she's being electrocuted from the wires. And this is all, so she's like, this is weird. But I guess Chucky hides her body after that because I know she tries to get up and investigate, but all this other stuff is happening at the same time. Like, Nika finds her old family
films and stuff. Like this is because here's the thing. This is all happening, but you don't know why Chucky's attacking his family.
And she's
then you see in the film.
Yeah, she gets the old film reels and she starts playing it, and she sees a man she doesn't recognize at this family picnic. Just like in the background, long hair.
And it's good old Brad Dourif.
Brad Dourif back in person to play his character.
Yeah, to play Charles Lee Ray. And he plays a friend of the family. Which
this is where another retcon, more retcon.
This is the beginning of the major retcons, but also they don't expect. How does this fit? How do these people, by the way, befriend Charles Lee Ray? Now, I'm not even saying this like the voodoo guy, like everybody else. It's like, do they not know this guy's a fucking weirdo?
Is his name Charles in this?
Yes, his name is Charles Lee Ray.
No, I'm saying to the family is his name Charles.
I think so.
I think he is.
He's still Charles.
And that's about him. Like he kind of just around the house, and he has affection for the mother. So what we allude to is that the whole kick is why Chucky's here is he abducted the mother and unborn Nika, who's inside the mother, and he's like, we're gonna be
kills the
father, and he's like abducts the mother. We're gonna be a new family, and she's all scared. She's tied up, and
this is where I didn't like the retcons.
This is the retcons because the cops come and we get the reveal that this takes place on the night that he became Chucky. He's fleeing. What we thought was like a 2-bit crime or like a alley murder is actually him fleeing from the abduction of a...
Right. This is where like you really have to let go of stuff because there's no way... You don't explain certain things with this, Don.
There's no way.
So the idea, like you said, was that because of the events that took place with Nika and her mother, that Nika's mother tipped off the cops somehow that she got kidnapped somehow, and that the cops chased him to the toy store, which I guess was more than one cop, even though it was only one detective in the first movie. Also, there was a getaway driver. Does that mean that he tried calling what is his name, Caputo? Eddie Caputo to come and get him before he got to there, or what was this? It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, this retcon is like the hard to ball stuff we could hand wave away, but this is how Chucky's entire motivation going forward.
Yeah, and so I mean, I get
and
like
it's like this family comes out of nowhere. Chucky never mentions them, even because in the first movie, Chucky's watching the news about what's happening. Like Charles Lee Ray's dead. They don't mention a family member has been returned to their family.
And not only that, even in the first movie, where he's like, I'm gonna get back all the guys that got me to turn into this doll. Why didn't he go after the mother immediately? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Or even inquire.
Like he went after Eddie and detective. That's it.
And that's it. The only two people that were there because I'm gonna think of this lady.
Yeah, I'm gonna forget about the pregnant lady that somehow tipped off the detectives
and got.
Yeah, no, it makes no sense. Like, but at this point, once
that's
again,
his whole motivation.
This is also the start
of his family.
This is also the start of Don doing whatever the fuck he wants, because
it's a super vindictive Chucky, because it's been decades and now I am back to kill his family.
And for this one, I don't know if it's. He doesn't split the soul yet. So he's So at this point, the only criticism I really have of this movie, other than this ridiculous fucking retcon that they do, I think is that he pads it too much with a lot of slow motion stuff.
Yes.
Like, cause there's a whole scene where Nika's trying to get away, and she's on the wheelchair. I get that she's going slow, but he puts it in slow motion.
Like Zack Snyder's.
Yes, and it's just like, dude, just get to it, man.
This is to the detriment. My other negative for this one would be, because it's lower budget, he couldn't use the animatronics that much, so half of Chucky is CGI, and we're like...
I mean, and they try to make it like...
It's not
try.
horrible, but it's...
And there's also another reveal that I wasn't...
There's so many better looking dolls that we've gotten, like, decades prior.
And there's also another reveal that I wasn't really into, where I think it was in this one, where they find the Chucky doll, and then somehow they realize that the Chucky has makeup. And then they take off the makeup.
This also was why they do this for no reason. Just because I guess he loves the design of Bride and Seed. Is just that Chucky, the Barb finds Chucky in the attic because she's looking for Alice. That's
the niece.
The niece. Or her daughter.
Or her daughter, yes.
She's looking for Alice because Chucky's like, play hide and seek so the family can disperse and be separated so I can pick them off one by one. Yeah. He doesn't tell her that, but that's his plan. So she's looking for Alice. She thinks she heard him in the attic, but it's actually Chucky. So she puts Chucky down, and he keeps, because she sees that he has a knife in him. She moves the knife away. He takes it back, and that makes her turn around again. And then she actually is like looking at this doll. She sees that there's makeup. There's stuff like she sees the stitching from the lip, and it's not completely on.
Yeah, she like pulls away some like layer of silicone.
Pulls a layer of silicone. I don't know why Chucky.
And then it revealed that it's the Bride of Chucky.
It's the Bride of Chucky.
Which also, by the way, because it's CG, it doesn't look as gritty.
Yeah.
It looks like. You know what it looks like? It looks like when you make the toy of the doll.
Yeah, it's like the one we got from like a comic book store.
Like this. It looked like this. Like how corny that shit looks. It looks like that.
But big, like one-to-one size, and you're just like, eh. So he kills her. He reveals himself. Now he's completely revealed himself. He's on the prowl. He's killing his family. He stabs her in the face. Yeah, he stabs her eye out and kicks her down the stairs.
Yeah.
So then the husband thinks Nika's doing it.
Yeah, which by the way, she's in a fucking wheelchair.
He's like, oh my gosh. So what he does is, she tries to get away because she's getting anxiety or I think she's getting.
She has a heart attack.
Heart condition, so she has basically a mini heart attack.
And she passes out.
And he ties her up and he's like, "What did you do?" He's like, "You've been killing me." He's like, "It wasn't me." So he's like, "You know what?" So he's like, "I know something's up with you guys." So he put a Teddy cam in Chucky.
Oh,
Chucky
that's right. That's right.
Has been messing with them. So he turns it on, plays it for it, and he sees everything's happening. What the heck?
Yeah.
And he sees stuff, and then he plays it for live, live feed, and he sees it's coming closer. He's like, what the heck? He's like, what's something's wrong with the camera. And then Chucky takes his legs out. This is another interesting kill because he has an axe again. He always gets an axe.
Every house has an axe.
Every house has an axe.
I think we have an axe here.
He's probably.
I think we have an axe here.
He's coming to, and then he sees Chucky moving alive. He's like, no! And Chucky chops his jaw and his face down in half. And
Yeah, you know what it is? I do like this movie, but you forget a lot of it.
Yes.
Because after this, it becomes more convoluted.
Convoluted and slow paced.
But yeah, it's very slow paced.
It's just now the only two people is just Nika and Chucky. So she's trying to fight off Chucky.
Trying to get away, and
But
I mean it's actually not a bad dynamic
Yes.
because she's handicapped; she can't move her legs. So, and Chucky can only do so much running around as a doll.
And it's inventive that she uses her paralysis to her advantage. So it's like Chucky tries to hit her, she's gonna use her leg. She doesn't feel pain.
Yeah, that's
so she lets him bury the axe in her leg and uses that, takes the axe, knocks him out.
Yep.
But then Chucky gets the upper hand, gets her behind the wheelchair, and throws her off the wheelchair. Down off the side.
Yeah, and I forget what happened, but
because that's when we get the reveal. That's when it's like, this is why I'm doing all.
Yeah. And
she did look up.
I think once again, the retcon is so convoluted because
this is why I'm doing this.
It's also insinuated that because of what happened, because he stabs the mother in the womb,
that she's paralyzed.
That's why she's paralyzed.
That's what happened. That's why she's paralyzed.
And it's just like
so her whole life has been messed up
from the get go.
Because of
this
Chucky.
Random, non-important character before.
She gives him another. So she gives him another character mode because she's like, he's like, you've done all this, but you've never killed Andy. You couldn't kill him. It's like I've heard about it. They call that completion.
That was actually pretty good. That was a pretty good pull.
Chucky's like, you know what?
Because that also hints at something that happens later that makes this movie 1,000 times better.
So he goes after her. He's stabbing her hand. She's like, we're gonna finish this. So she grabs Chucky. She gets a knife from him. She stabs him. And we don't know how Chucky works anymore because fluff comes out of his body, not blood or anything.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And it was so weird. But then he's still alive. So she screams. But then the cop who was investigating, was on this priest scene from that grisly car accident, I guess is coming to the house to question what happened there. He comes upon Nika. Chucky's playing dead. And it's just that whole macabre scene of...
And at that point, too, they pretty much take Nika in because...
They take Nika in because...
they think she did it.
Yeah,
they think she did it. But then also, I think...
This is...
Oh, no, this is later. I'm sorry. Because there was a point where... Because the niece is also still alive.
Yes.
So Nika gets taken in.
Nika gets taken in. She's in court. She's tried and convicted for...
Yeah, but they send her to a mental
institution. And she's like... Because Chucky is one of the exhibits, like Exhibit B on the stand, and she's like, because she's taunting him even as she's leaving, she's going to jail. It's not a great thing, but she's like, I still get the last because you didn't kill me. You didn't kill me.
This is when I start,
and this is when we're just
so
questioning everything
because Fiona Dora.
Yes, because now she's being sent away to an
asylum. To be dealt like this. It's so fucked up.
We can agree. Because then we get another reveal that Tiffany is still working with Chuck. Because she breaks him out of the courthouse or another police lockup or compound.
Which, by the way, none of these police lockups are very secure.
No.
Are they still in Chicago?
I don't know where they are.
Yeah, I don't know where they are here. Are they still in Chicago?
They have to be because that's where
I guess.
he abducted them. So it has to be Chicago.
Okay, yeah, because
I think the family moved. I don't think they stayed in Chicago. I know that when he abducted them, that took place in Chicago. But I think the family moved.
Either way, it's probably Illinois somewhere. Whatever.
But it's like, there's no security. She slits another police officer's throat, takes Chucky. She's like, so where to next? When we first saw this movie, he didn't believe me because he turned it off after that.
So the ending is also that he mails himself
like Marvel.
to her.
There's 2 end credits.
So it really is actually. So he mails himself to the niece.
Yes.
And then he transfers his body to.
Well, you finally see because nothing's just like, I'm with my grandma, Chucky.
I think this also hints.
What do you want to do? He's like, let's play hide the soul. She's like, okay, and he actually doing the chant. There's no one there to stop him.
Because here's the thing, I also think this is hinting at the first multiple Chuckies.
That's what we allude to.
Yeah, because the next scene after that was gangster as fuck. Because like so this is Don Mancini basically just like, all right, if you've been involved this long in this series, if you've dealt with all of the bullshit and you're still in, this is for you guys. Because so they reveal that a package gets delivered to another place. But as once again, good direction.
Yeah.
They're creeping up onto the belongings of, or the opening of the apartment, and you see the pictures. You see
Aaron Barkley.
Yep.
You see Officer Mike.
Yep.
You see his academy graduation.
Yeah. He actually graduated from the military academy somehow after killing people, and after getting taken by the police. And then also a picture of him and Kyle.
And he's on the phone with his mom, I think.
Which is also a cool turn. Like, you don't know what happened to the mom.
Yeah, I bet she's out of the asylum, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and she's doing great. But then you realize, holy shit, this is Andy. And not only that, and you don't realize it because I didn't realize until...
No, he didn't believe it.
And it's like Andy. And so there's a point... Yeah,
he starts cutting out of the box because it's Chucky being delivered to him. He put him down, and the box is in front of all of these memorabilia and memorabilia that we've gotten from the years.
Yeah.
So he starts cutting himself out of the box. He's wasting no time.
Yep.
Pushes open the box, looks around. He's like, "Oh, Andy!" And there's Andy ready and poised with a shotgun. And it's like, boom.
It was
And that's how
it was actually such a Marvel reveal because like he does that, and then after that, the credits come out. This is Alex Vincent as Andy Barkley.
As he
oh, dude, it was so gangster. And I didn't believe Carl because I didn't realize that was still. This is still the same.
Andy's back, and you're like, hell.
And I thought, you would think it's a different actor too. No, it's the original actor. The original child actor came back.
Something years later, he's back.
And he does a good job for the most part until they really start dicking him around. But anyways, we get into the final movie so far in the series, which is Cult of Chucky, which once again Don Mancini starts treading the waters. I'm gonna get ridiculous.
But it's not. We're still on the tracks. That's all.
We're still on the cusp of it.
But it's like a little rocky, but you're like, oh.
And I do like the way that everything is introduced. This is what I would consider his like weird Suspiria movie.
Yes.
Which is weird and artsy, and he tries to take it to a level.
One setting.
Yeah, it's a bottle film technically.
Bottle film in a sane asylum, which is like, he made it cinematography, bright lights, all white walls, just like sterile, like completely.
Yeah, and also I do love the intro of this movie with Andy because Andy is officially reintroduced to the series.
He's back. That ending wasn't just some like spoof throwaway. Like he's back, and that's actually what happened. So I don't know how long it's been. I think it's been 3 or 4 years since the story.
No, it might be a little bit shorter than that because I think Nika is just going into the.
Nika was in an insane asylum like Max insane asylum, but she's going to a lower security for good behavior because she hasn't like assaulted or done.
Yeah, and also the therapist requested it,
and the therapist requested
find out why later. And in this one, it opens up with Andy on a date.
Yes.
Which I'm just like, all right, this is interesting. Because I really like the way that some of this was directed.
Andy's world is now.
Yeah.
What his life has been since.
And I actually like what they do. Because it does kind of like the thing like what they did with Halloween.
Yeah.
With her kind of going crazy and still thinking about Michael Myers.
Oh, he's obsessed.
And he's obsessed. Because he goes on a date. He realizes it doesn't go well.
It doesn't go well.
Because she Googles him.
Googled me.
She Googles him.
Again, going to that logic, if you can just easily Google Andy or Charles or Chucky's name, how does nobody else know about these things?
Because before Don Mancini will put in logic when it makes sense.
And when it makes sense for the scene.
For the story.
And then throw it out the
window. And then throw it the fuck out after that.
Because she's like, yeah, I Googled you. She's like, I'm just getting, basically, she's not saying this, but she's getting a bad vibe because she's like, this kid's like, maybe a serial killer or something. All the deaths is like, because he knows the date's already pretty much done.
It tanked.
Because she Googled him.
Because also he's like, I think, how old is he now? He's got to be like.
He's got to be 30.
No, he's got to be late 30s or something.
Late
30s, and so he's kind of like in that dating pool realm where it's just like.
Where he's been on these.
Yeah, all these dates constantly, and just like, alright, none of this is working. And the fucked up thing is he goes home, and he realizes.
You get the reveal. He opens a safe.
Oh,
opens it up, and that, like we said, was what happened at the end of Curse. Is he shot Chucky's head off with the shotgun? So he has Chucky's head on a spike, and it's still alive
Somehow.
Voodoo magic.
Voodoo
Slowly
magic,
turning
man.
human. I guess us humans can keep our heads on a spike for years at a
With
time.
half the head
Half the
gone.
head gone.
Which, by the way, it's not like it was fluff.
It's a cool animatronic and stuff. It's not fluff. There's blood.
Gore.
And
There's gore coming out of
skeleton.
brain
Yeah,
and shit.
brain,
And he's somehow still alive.
Still alive. And Chucky kind of knows, like, rough night. And he's like, yeah, it's just me and you again tonight.
And he's smoking a joint.
He's smoking a joint. And Chucky's like, give me some of that. So he does it, but Chucky, he's still messing with Andy. That's what he wants to do. So he tries to bite him. And he's like, he's like, oh, you want to play? And he literally takes a torch just like that one out.
Just like this. I
Just
was using
like
for my
this.
dabs.
And he just starts
And
torturing.
the thing is, it's just like...
So that's what we're saying his life is now.
He's just...
Torturing
He gets high and tortures
a serial killer doll's head. That's what he does. That's his life. He's obsessed.
Crazy
with it.
intro.
He could have killed Chucky, but he keeps him alive just to torture him.
Because also, it's like... It's almost... it's such a weird character study with Andy at this point, where it's just like... I'm so fucked up about this that if I know that you're here and you're alive and I'm in control of you, you're not anywhere else and you're not going to hurt me.
I'm just going to... You can't hurt me.
It's a control thing. It's weird.
And this is what... Because it's like, this is your Saturday night. Yeah, this is a Saturday night torturing a doll's head.
Yeah,
because his
smoking
date was right.
and drinking and then torturing the doll.
Yeah.
Because my date didn't go well. And not only that, he lives like in a half like done house where like there's tarps where like...
Tarps. He's not like... It's not finished. He's got guns. He
looks like a crazy person. He's a fucking crazy person.
It's sad. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Chucky, like he said, we didn't say this, but in the previous movie in Curse, he's like, yeah, I didn't kill him, but I killed his life. I killed his childhood.
Yeah.
And he did. He essentially did.
Now he's just paranoid. That's all he thinks about.
Yeah.
And so after this, now we get into the whole story with Nika inside of this insane asylum.
So Nika does come back.
There's the one thing I'll say about this. It kind of takes on almost the Child's Play 3 problem, where it's like we're gonna do Child's Play, but we're also gonna do One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
He's trying to do two genres of
at
two
once.
scenarios.
Like it becomes like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Girl Interrupted.
It's not just Chucky. Sometimes Chucky is just relegated to the background while we do this Girl Interrupted type of
That's
thing.
really what it is. It's kind of more like Girl Interrupted because now she's kind of dealing with these different characters, like this lady that killed her kid by accident.
Or on purpose, but like for her insanity.
Because she has like Munchausen or something. And then some old lady that's generally crazy. This guy that has a multiple personality disorder that later thinks that he's also one of the Chuckies.
And then I think a kleptomaniac or just a aggressive Asian woman. I forgot what her.
Oh yeah, I forgot what her thing was. But either way, like it kind of. It's this whole thing where they're kind of just dealing with each other being in this.
Yeah.
To where Nika kind of.
They all go to group therapy, and the psychiatrist's bright idea is, oh, we'll go over each person, but for Nika, I'm going to help you this time.
And brings out a doll.
I'm like, what the? Because this is the thing. People know Chucky in the sun. I'm like, Chucky? What the heck?
Because now we're in a universe. Not only do people know about the murders, there's movies.
Then he presses it and he says, "Hi, I'm Chucky." He's like, "No, that thing just said Chucky." He's like, "Yeah, there's like 13 different versions of it all. I got a Chucky. He did it on purpose." He's saying.
Oh my god! This therapist is like the therapist from the New Mutants movie, where she just doesn't know how to control any of these fucking people, except just to be a shitty Nurse Ratched.
As I said before too, in our scrapped reviews, it's just this guy is so insane. This therapist, I thought he was in on it. I thought he was part of Chucky's cult. We learned he's not. But
no, he's still a creep in some other way.
He's super creepy.
Because here's the thing, at this point,
bizarre.
So the interesting thing about this last installment, once again, it's just basically like it's just some weird art direction. Yeah. It's a Girl Interrupted story.
Cinematography, I like that, but it's like you said, the story takes a backseat at certain parts.
And then honestly, it becomes the cult of Chucky because there's a thing where there becomes multiple Chucky dolls, and you don't know which one is the bad one, because also Chucky.
Because we've seen from the beginning of the movie, Andy has Chucky's head, so you're like, that's one Chucky, but then we get another one, but we're like, okay, is this someone else's body? Is this someone else, like we said, because the movie's called Cult of Chucky? This is another follower of Chucky that's trying to get to Nika because Chucky can't. That's what we don't know that yet. We're just asking these questions in our head. And then Tiffany comes to the asylum because she somehow became Alice's guardian or something, and Alice died.
Don Mancini does what he wants now, Carl.
so she's like, oh, this is what Alice left for you. The other Chucky doll that we have should be here. And you're like, okay. And then we see that night that one of the Chucky dolls comes to life. We don't know which one of them comes to life. And it's Chucky. It's Charles C. Ray. His voice. It is him. He sees the delusional old lady who thinks she's like a ghost and doesn't question at all. But it makes sense.
Because here's the thing: the way that they direct this, it's more of like he almost wants to make you feel like, because all these patients,
anyone seeing this?
All these patients are on like Thorazine and medication.
Up the wazoo. That's why.
So and he makes
less security, so they're all meted.
He makes you feel like you're kind of tripping out with everybody else looking at what's going on, and that's why a lot of it's a very Suspiria feeling film.
We know it's Chucky, but it's like you're kind of questioning: do they know? It's like, or is that one Chucky real, or is this other Chucky real? So we don't know. We don't know, as we learn later, that Chucky, there's multiple Chuckies running around.
He gets split.
He splits. So she's like, Chucky's like, I'll kill you in the last, but Nika's horribly depressed because the last of her family members is dead, so she tries to commit suicide. And Chucky's like, no, our story's not done here. Somehow, Chucky apparently is good at field medic surgery because he stops the bleeding.
That was a Hail Mary stitch. You see those shit? That's something I would do if I was trying to cover up a murder.
So he stitches that up, and he kills the old lady. That's where we get the first death in the asylum. And that's when everything's up security, even though people are dying.
The thing I want to kind of move on to because like we described the kills and stuff. There's the one thing that he does bring back, I think, was a decent kill was the glass coming down, because there's one where one of the patients were tied up.
The Asian woman, she's more suspicious of Chucky. She just thinks it's creepy, but she doesn't know it's alive yet. And then Chucky bites her. And she's like, oh, it's real, but they're thinking, oh, you're crazy. She's like, she's getting hysterical. We gotta calm her down. So they drag her into the
worst asylum ever.
Worst asylum because they drag her in, met her up, and strap her to the bed. They do put heart monitors on her. They put leads on her to monitor her vitals, but they just leave her in the room by herself. So if she started crashing, there'll be no one there anyways to help. But they leave Chucky in the room up there, of course, because why not? Because I think because I remember his name, Multiple Malcolm, because that's the crazy
split personality dude.
The social identity guy is like there's like a cemetery back in behind the asylum or something, and he goes in there and they're like, oh, Malcolm's like.
Because here's the one thing I'll say about this Chucky. He knows how to manipulate everyone in the asylum.
He's working overtime.
And not only that, where you once again you later find out I want to get to the culmination where the reveal happens, where because at this point it's just Chucky dicking around with Nika the whole time, and you get to the point where you reveal that her psychiatrist is a fucking creep.
Oh, yes.
And that there's not just one, but multiple Chuckies.
Probably, not even borderline, but probably assaulted her.
No, he did. He absolutely did. And not only that, at this point too, the other side story is that, Andy figures out that Nika's involved in all this, and he tries to get to her. I forget why he tries to. He finds out the doll's at the asylum, and he tries to go there, mail a doll to himself. It was some weird thing.
He has his own doll that he cut the hair down because it's a throwback to the Chucky 3 with
the military shit.
But he has an old doll and he mails it there for his own purposes. So the psychiatrist gets it and there's another doll. Who's think this? He's kind of confused, but he leaves it on the table. But going back to the Asian woman kill that you like, is Chucky's alone in the room with her, so he starts messing with her. He starts running around to keep her heart rate up, and then he grabs one of the O2 tanks that's by the bed, because she's
okay.
And he goes and cracks open the top, and it shoots off, And it's a glass. For some reason, in this room, there's a glass ceiling.
Glass ceiling. By the way, it's like crazy thick glass.
Crazy thick glass. And she's helpless because not only is she drugged, but she's also strapped to the bed. And it just cuts her up and then chops her head off. And Chucky even said, I like that. He's like, sometimes I even scare myself with these.
Oh man.
Because she's just like decapitated. Like,
so once they reveal all of this
stuff is going down. Still no security. There's been like 3 deaths at this point.
Oh yeah, they never call the cops.
They never call the cops.
Once.
And how did they explain that? It's just an unfortunate accident, I guess.
Oh, so I guess maybe most people are criminals, so they don't give a shit. I don't.
No, even if
you know what?
They still have family out there.
Chicago. It's still in Chicago. That's why. It's still
I don't even know where
Chicago.
this takes place. It probably is Chicago.
No, it's definitely Chicago. And that's just it. It's canon now. Chicago.
Chicago.
Anyway, so like
Jersey
when they do the reveal and all that, everything starts getting kind of like crazy and convoluted. Where Andy kind of gets trapped inside of the asylum.
Yes. Oh, Andy.
But
Andy
he orchestrated this whole thing when he
fights
mailed the doll.
one guard, so he can be admitted.
He orchestrated so that he mailed the doll in.
Yes.
The doll would get somehow he figured that the doll would get possessed.
He knew because he knew at this point
that Chucky had multiple.
Because he saw the news report and then saw the doll there and he's like, what the hell? And Chucky's like, oh, you thought it was just me?
Oh,
and
so the head told him. Got it. Alright, so that's why he did that. But cool fucking way to get it because he gets the doll. The doll comes to kill him because at this point everything's revealed and now he sends the missions to all the other Chuckies to do that.
He's learned a groovy new spell online. Voodoo for Dummies.
That was the criticism I want to get to.
Yeah.
Don Mancini doesn't give a shit about the voodoo.
He doesn't care any. He's
Voodoo.com. It was like Voodoo.com.
Voodoo for Dummies stock. Yeah, and he learned it's because it's Awe Due Dembala, but this one's Awe Boku Dembala. You change one word, you can split your soul. Clear, obviously.
I don't want to talk about
why are you
it's
mad? Obviously, clearly that's how you do it. So he demonstrates to Nika, this is how you do it.
No to all of this. No to all of that.
Clearly.
Don,
what are you talking about? This is completely
Don, I love and I hate you. Why do you do this?
Sound logic. Don't ignore it.
No. Terrible. Why?
So he shows her and then there's 3 dolls now. And this is the only time there's like jokes where they kind of riff off each other. It's like, I love you guys, and I love me.
Oh no, it gets worse later. but either way.
And then the one nurse comes in, sees all 3 dolls. This is another cool kill though. Because they've knocked out the psychiatrist, the sicko. The nurse comes in, and they all turn their heads like Chucky does. He turns his head like Exorcist style, turns his head back, and then they just all jump him. And one has the broken glass. One has like I think a box cutter, and the other one has a drill. And they all just start tearing into him. And it's one of the more conventional kills, because most of the time Chucky uses like some sort of contraption or something to kill you. This one they just straight up kill him and he's dead. Nika's like, oh gosh, I'm next. And Chucky's like, no. I could have killed you at any time. He's like, but there's things worse than death.
This is also where at this point, because at this point, Don Mancini is just going, hey, this is going to kick off the next level of stuff that I'm going to do, like, because now he possesses Nika.
Yes. So he does the spell to
and
Nika.
Somehow Nika can walk.
Because the soul has power. He said this in the interview. Souls have power, just like...
Oh yeah, because atrophy isn't a thing. No, the fact that she cut into an axe into her leg in the last movie wasn't a thing.
Just like you animate a doll, you can animate your paralyzed legs.
You're just like, if Fiona Doerk is so hot that I do.
And now she can walk.
And now she can walk. So let's just leave it at that. That's the only thing I'll thank you for that.
But she's also Chucky now. So Chucky has possessed her body.
It's so weird. That shit, man. Because she's Chucky.
But
so
he's also
think about this with Fiona. So she's playing her dad,
possessing her.
Like, it's so fucking weird. And she has to act like her dad.
Brilliant actress doing all this, because she
really
does
good.
the mannerisms, she does the voice.
Really good.
And Chucky's a spirit of vengeance, so he gets revenge for the sicko psychiatrist. Because he has a foot fetish, he put like these red open-toed
Oh
heels
yeah, that
on
was
her.
his thing.
Yeah. So she uses those heels,
Stomps his
head in with great effect. Cool. Don't worry, we'll see that actor again, as we see a few actors over
Get to the next half.
and over again. So she stomps him. Andy is still in the quiet or the sound room.
He's kind of trapped there.
He's trapped there. But
For
the
the
Chucky comes to him and he's like, I'm glad it was you, the shaved head Chucky. They fight. He tears into Chucky's guts, pulls out the gun he had put in the doll before it was possessed by voodoo. And he's like, oh, that's why you're the one who sent me. He's like, yep. But Oscar's mad at this part.
He unloads the entire clip onto this dead Chucky already.
Basically already dead. And he uploads
and wastes it, and he has no more bullets.
No more bullets.
So he wastes that whole entire plan, and he's still trapped, by the way.
Trapped because Nika Chucky, as we call her, comes because she's investigating what's going on. She comes onto the scene, and he's like, he knows it's not. He's like, you, and she's like, oh, if you kill me, you kill her. But he doesn't hesitate. But he doesn't know he's out of ammo. So
Out of bullets.
And she's like, ha ha ha, sucker. And she closes the door, so he's trapped in there.
Yeah, and then
we get
to
the
the
one
end.
final kill. Malcolm still thinks he's a Chucky, and he's like, haha, yeah. And
Oh,
like,
he's a poser.
You're a poser. You're not Chucky. What's wrong with you? He's like, I don't know what to be anymore. And then another great effect as a drill starts coming through his head. He's dying, and it goes right through his eye, and he's like, ah. And it's again as we.
The other Chuckies all got killed already, right?
No, they're only the one. There's still two other Chuckies and Nika Chucky running around. That's what's like. We didn't say this, but this is why we love these ones. Is because Chucky's on a win streak. You don't really see that with slashers or serial killers and stuff. They usually die at the end and stuff. But Chucky is winning. He's killed pretty much everyone he's gone after and possessed Nika. He's not dead at the end of this movie. In fact, there's more of him now at the end of this movie.
This is why this is the Chucky wins era.
Yeah, the Chucky
Chucky
era,
wins
the
era.
redemption instead of him
The
doing
Chucky
stupid
wins
stuff
era.
and dying. Now has a plan somewhat and has a way to execute that plan, and he succeeds. So we're like, props to that because you don't usually get that in Killer.
You don't get that with him. You just
that
don't get it with him.
and you don't get that with most killers. Freddy loses every movie.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
Jason loses
here's the
every
thing, though.
movie.
With Freddy and Jason and them, there's always a thing at the end where they win.
Well, they're not dead.
No, but still, even there's a point where it's like, oh, he's not done fucking them. They win, kind of, because they're still alive. Yeah. In the other one, Chucky just gets fucked up the entire movies. Yeah, like all of them. Like he gets fucked up, diced up, beaten, tortured. Oh, even in the last movie, in this one, he's tortured still. Like these are the two movies where he wins. Yeah, he wins.
I came up on top. And he's incarcerated in an insane asylum. They're probably gonna pin most of these murders on him. He has a human body. This is the first time we've seen him since that he's gotten a human body. That we've seen on screen at least. And there's two other Chucky dolls running around. And then we get the reveal at the end, because Tiffany's still working with him, that Tiffany's there to pick him up at the entrance of the asylum. She also has a doll that she's split herself
Now,
into.
okay, so that's the thing that I was like debating on like what it was, but I forgot that. Yeah. So the niece from the first movie dies. They don't explain that until in the middle of the movie. And I thought that was the niece in the Tiffany doll, but it's actually just, they could both split.
Yes, we get the confirmation that's just Tiffany. We thought
that
the niece's body died.
But the thing that bothers me about that is it's never addressed again. Like Tiffany never splits her soul again. Like that was it.
No,
right?
Just the one doll.
So it's like, but at this point,
dolls, I don't know.
At this point now we get into the TV series
Chucky
and sci-fi, which I'm going to cut here, and we're going to do a part 2 of this. Where I'm more focused and I wasn't too hammered to do the rest of this because I was very hammered after Seed. But yeah, no. That I mean, honestly, in terms of the rankings, which you didn't get to do yet, I'm gonna do the ranking right now. It goes for me. It goes 2, 1, Curse. I believe I said it was Cult and then Bride.
Bride before 3 or?
Oh no, sorry, 3 and then you know what it is? It's kind of a toss up between 3 and Bride. But I think I'm gonna go with 3 Bride and then obviously the Abomination we talked about.
You're the greatest one.
All
All right, I'll give my ranking. Okay, Seed, the best one. Seed.
Get the fuck out of here! Fuck you! You are not doing that to this cast. You change that right now.
No, I'm not insane. Okay, I'm just messing. Obviously 2 first. Then 1.
Okay.
I put Curse over Cult. Curse.
Okay.
Cult. I like Bride more than 3, just because we get Tiffany.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's more memorable. 3 you kind of forget, but you have to remember
because you know what it is
it's
with
in the trilogy.
Because here's the thing with 3, I saw that so much like in sci-fi.
We saw. That's the only reason because
they played that all the time, and it was
that's the one they played the most
because it was the safest and easiest to edit to make it like TV safe.
TV safe because not a lot happened.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I remember that the most, and I remember being like still goofy, but I still got Chucky.
So,
but like and Bride, I just got so mad.
Interchangeable. I could interchange it.
Yeah,
so
it's
I could
hard.
put
It's down.
3,
Yeah.
and then Bride, and then Seed is the bottom.
And obviously Seed at the very fucking bottom. But yeah,
like,
we will get into in part 2. I would say we're gonna get into the series, which is that's why I don't want to do it now because I know it's gonna.
And we got 24 episodes to go.
No, it's a lot, but yeah. So that's gonna be it for us tonight. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Mike, on the side over there.
See you, Mike, on the side.
Yo. All right. So later, guys.